Hello, good morning. Welcome to Sewing Quarter. It's lovely to have your company here with us this morning. My name's Amy Burrows. I'm here with you all morning till 12 o'clock, and I'm joined by the lovely Jayne Brogan and Joy today as well, who's doing some quilting with us. Now, you might see behind me an Elna Masterclass. That's what this morning is all about. So if you don't know, Elna is actually our home brand here at Sewing Quarter. So every day you'll see all of our designers using machines from Elna. On the show, we use all different sewing machines and quilting machines that we have and work with from Elna, and we love them. I think the fact we have them and use them speaks volumes about the fact, you know, what we think of the brand. But I'll talk you through what's coming up on today's show. At 8 o'clock, I'm joined by Jayne, and we're looking at... It's so clever. I love this machine. It's an embroidery machine. It's the 820, and we're going to be looking at all of the features of that. At 9 o'clock is tips and tricks, so I'm joined by Jo Edgington in that hour, and we've got a quilting machine from Elna then. At 10 o'clock, feet first with Elna, so we're looking at some accessories and also a couple of different Elna sewing machines. And 11 o'clock is pre-cut perfection, so I'm going to be absolutely surrounded by fat quarters and lots of different bundle options for you in that hour at 11. So I hope you're ready with a notebook. Take your notes for your Elna Masterclass this morning. Jayne's got, well, absolutely so much information to share with us. And the embroidery machine is so clever. Last time I left here with a towel with my initials on, so it keeps me happy. Let's have a look, first of all, at these bundles that we've got this morning. So we've got 4 fabric bundles. These are lovely if you want to use different solids or spot-on fabrics, perhaps for binding or for backing, and also some really bright, bold colours to incorporate into different projects. So we've got 2 1.5 metre bundles. I'll start with those. So you get 3 different fabrics, 1/2 metre of each. This first one on the end, this is our classic bundle, a nautical sort of colour theme here, and with your reds, whites and blues. So you've got a red spot on. You've got a solid cream. And you've got a dark blue there, again in that solid from Macawa. That's perfect for a Union Jack or a... Well, let's not get... I always do that. I get into flags. I could go, you know, we could go for stars and stripes. So the classic bundle, 11.45, 2 solids, 1/2 metre of those and 1/2 metre of the solid red spot on. So that's your classic bundle. Then we're going into a very bright, bold one here with bright lime greens and also a sunshine yellow. So again, you've got 2 solids in this bundle. You've got your yellow on the bottom here, 1/2 metre of that, and 1/2 metre of your bright green. What an inventive name, the yellow and green bundle. And you've got a green spot on as well there. So again, 1.5 metres, 11.45, 1/2 metre of each of these. Now, with all of these bundles, if you multi-buy these are already pre-cut. So if you were to buy, say, 2 of the classic bundle, these would come as 2 1/2 metre cuts of the red spot, 2 1/2 metres of the cream, 2 1/2 metres of the blue. They don't come as 1 big metre off the bolt. All of these bundles are already pre-cut, ready to send to you. Now, we've also got 2 2.5 metre bundles. So we've got a blue and a pink option here with 5 fabrics in these ones, so a slightly larger option. This one here, I'll start first of all with the cream. This has got the linear look fabric, so you've got that cross-hatching detail, a nice sheen to this as well on the top there. That's your classic cream. Then you've got a bold royal blue. That's a solid from Macawa. Then you've got your cornflower blue spot on and a cornflower blue solid. And then you've got the sky blue spot on there as well, so a slightly softer version. But you can just see that lovely sort of range of blues there that all coordinate really beautifully together. So another inventive name, the blue bundle. We're keeping it nice and simple this morning, no room for confusion. And then finally, we've got another 2.5 metre bundle. I wonder what this one's called. What do we reckon? I'm thinking pink. So we've got 2 solids on the bottom here. You've got a really soft baby pink there. Then you've got more of a candy floss pink in that second solid in the bundle. You've got the spot-on pink candy floss. Then you've got your bright fuchsia pink. And then again, you've got that linear look fabric. If you can just see that cross-hatching detail across the fabric there, just gives it a little bit more sort of depth and texture, but works really beautifully if you want to team that with some of those other pinks in that collection. the pink bundle. So we've got blue, pink, green and yellow and the classic. See, I can even remember the names of all 4 bundles because they're that straightforward this morning. Now, you can see behind me Elna Masterclass. I'm joined by the Elna expert herself. So let's go over and meet Jayne and get cracking with this embroidery machine. Good morning, Jayne. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Happy Bank Holiday Monday.
And to you as well.
Knocked your glasses off, sorry. So, the Queen of Elna.
Is it?
Yes, I think we can call Jayne the Queen of Elna.
Yeah.
Know all about it.
Yeah.
If for anybody that hasn't seen you before, tell us a bit about about Elna and what you do with the company.
Elna, I work for the company, promoting the brand, obviously. And most people know this is part of the Jayne Group now. So we have various machines. Again, they're the house machines on here for you.
Yes.
So we have quite a big selection, which is growing. We're putting more and more in all the time of different ones.
We see different ones.
We do see different ones. You've got the 680 and the 540, the most popular ones that the ladies like using for demonstrating with. I bring the embroidery machine in now and then because it's such a nice add-on to your normal sewing machines because there's so much more you can do with it. So that is just a really nice one to have a look at if you wanted a little bit more.
And this is something a bit different. So for anybody that doesn't know, what's the difference between an embroidery machine and a sewing machine? This
just purely does embroidery. It doesn't sew at all. So there's no foot control, there's nothing. I can literally, I've got it set up now, I can press the button to start sewing and it will quite happily sew away. Completes one colour, it will stop and wait for you to come back and change it and just carry on. So if you've got a separate sewing machine, you can still be sewing, doing your projects while this is doing your embroidery for you.
And this is like magic. When Jayne says you can leave it, you literally program in what you want to do and it just does it by itself.
It will do it for you. It's got 100 built-in designs on it already, but because you've got the USB port on the side, it means that the world's your oyster. There's so many websites out there now that you can buy different designs from. Must download them in the correct file, which is a .jef file.
Okay.
To go on the machine. We'll talk about how to put your memory stick in later if you want to. And then you can just purchase.
You can use those designs and just incorporate them into...
The thing you do need to remember is that they fit in your hoop size because there are a vast range of hoop sizes. So long as you buy something that fits in your hoop size, download it in the right format, you can just carry on.
And the sorts of things that people tend to embroider, what do you see is the most popular
You can
things?
Embroider all kinds of things.
I've got a towel that
You've got a towel. John had my last one, so I'll have to go and get some more.
Jayne's run out of towels.
Run out of towels. All of us. So you've got towels, flannels, bed linens. I used to do a lot of children's things, so you can really personalise. I used to like little gym bags. I've got a little shoe bag here.
School uniforms.
School uniform. So that is a plique, so your sewing machine and a little embroidered shoe.
That one there.
Christmas presents is absolutely fabulous for.
Absolutely. And wedding presents, I think, are lovely.
I used to do ring pillows, christening cushions, all kinds of things, because you've got font on the machine as well. So you can personalise things really, really nicely.
Let's see the magic happen then. Let's set the machine off on its own.
Set to go. Because put a little design in.
Step away and
it will do. So I've got a little design in. I've got some little scissors that come with it. We can go through the bits and pieces you get in a minute. And I can literally just start this and off it'll go.
So which design are you going for?
We are going for design, I think it's 64. I'll show you in a second. You do get, so if I can leave that sewing now, and it'd be quite happy there to sew away for us while we're talking. We are going for, I think I'll put that one in today for a little change.
If you can just see here, so you've got, like you say, over 100 built in.
There's 100 built-in designs, so these are just some. There's some on the other side as well. That's a little one that we're doing now.
And then you select which design you want. There are loads in here, you can see on the back as well.
Yeah, those tend to be the larger ones, again, the larger hoop.
So you pop you choose your design from the top. If we just look in the lid here, I don't know if you can see,
in there.
Inside the machine, you've got like a little version of all of the different designs that you've got in the top. So you pick which number one you like the look of, you program it in, using
you literally just select it. It's touch button selection, select the design, and it comes up and it will tell me if the guys can catch the screen now. I'm going to get my little cleaning brush out to put it with, instead of my fingers being in the way. And it tells you on here how long it's going to take to embroider, how many colours are in that design, the actual design size, and it's telling me to use hoop A. The largest embroidery size in hoop A is 5 by 4.3 inches. It comes with another hoop, and your largest embroidery design in there is 5.5 by 7.9 inches.
So it's a bigger
hoop. Don't ask me in centimetres.
Okay.
So So it does tell me. And you can also pop up and see how many thread colours are in it, which colours they are. You can change the colours if you want to suit whatever project you're doing.
So you really can personalise. You're choosing.
Yes.
But it's not just those 100 designs. Like you said, there is a USB port in the side of the machine.
USB port.
Which then you've got the freedom
There are so many. If you just spend a little time on the internet, there are so many fantastic websites out there now, and you can get embroidery designs of most things. To say the only criteria is you must make sure it fits in the hoop size that you've got.
And just look at this now. So we're not touching anything.
No,
there's no pedal. This machine is just creating that design that we've just picked out from that whole selection that come with the machine. And you know, if you what happens then if we need to change the colour thread?
It will finish this colour first. There are 2 colours in this design, so it'll finish the yellow first. Then it will stop and wait for me to change the thread. And you thread it exactly the same way as you would a normal sewing machine. So there's nothing complicated there.
And then you just change the second colour in. If there were more than 2 colours, you just
it would go through
those.
and it will change them as you just change the colours as it stops, and that's it.
It's so clever. It's just it's just moving. It's just doing it. We're not touching anything and. In terms of the actual effects that you can create, I'm going to just show you. Jayne's got a whole folder of different things that have been created using the machine. And you know what? In terms of what you can embroider onto, we've got lots of different fabrics.
Bits and pieces here,
So these are some examples of designs. So you've got like Jayne said, you've got different fonts if you want to go for different letters and to put your names on things or embroider uniforms. So those are the 3 fonts.
3 fonts which are built into the machine. So you've got Gothic, Script and Cheltenham already built into the machine. And then you can do those in small, medium and large.
I love this one. That's lovely for, like we were saying, like for weddings.
It's really pretty. And again, you can resize slightly within the machine as well. So you can plus or minus 20% on the desigins.
So if you want to scale them up a little bit or down a little bit, you can.
You can.
Then you've got monograms.
Yes, so built-in monograms.
If you want to use some of that, obviously different colours as well, you can do those in. And then you've got lovely sort of more floral and different designs that you could add that would look beautiful on tableware or on towels. I love some of these edges that you could do.
They're beautiful, yeah. Even for table linen, anything like that, they really are nice.
And these as well, saying about Christmas, in different colours.
Yeah, if you put some reds and golds and greens in there, they would be beautiful. Again, napkins, table runners, linens.
All of these done by that machine. I mean, and they're so intricate and so... It's so professional. You could even put these onto... I love these ones. You could put them onto a dress, couldn't you?
Yes, yeah. Cross-stitch, fabulous way of doing cross-stitch. Well, to me it is.
You would never know that that's not been done.
No, you wouldn't.
The detail is amazing. But yeah, something like this, the butterfly, if you're making a dress perhaps for a little girl or something like that...
I would embroider the fabric first and then cut the pattern out afterwards, so the placement is absolutely spot on where you want it.
Right, you want it.
Or if you could put it on a purchase garment as well.
Yes.
Quite easily, just mark it out and embroider onto it, so it makes it very personal.
So you could buy something that's quite, plain
simple,
or even, quite reasonable, and then you could make it a bit more interesting by adding some embroidery.
I mean, embroidered garments are very, very popular at the moment still, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Really popular. I have to say, I've got quite a few shirts seem to be the thing, and also denim.
Yes.
And lots of jeans in all the shops, sort of florals going all down the sides or on the shoulders, or really, really popular.
So you still can just do your normal jeans. If you unpick the seam, you can still hit them, but obviously be careful of the really heavy seams on them. There's nothing to stop you putting some floral bits up there, then just sew the seam up again.
In terms of fabrics, what sorts of things can we embroider onto?
You can embroider on all kinds of different fabrics. There's a huge range. I've embroidered on most things over the years.
Trials.
It is trial and error. I mean, I've got literally a couple of bits with me today. So that's like a little headscarf, which has been embroidered on. So that's quite a loose weave, but that's embroidered on there beautifully. Pop some little sequins on. Again, it's really original.
Really just adds something really nice and sort of special. And actually, I love the idea of buying something that's already... Perhaps if you don't do dressmaking or you don't, make things like that, of buying something and then actually you've still got that personalisation...
You can still do that, yes.
That's different, something that you've done rather than it just being...
You always say with this, you don't have to be a sewer to use one of these.
No.
You can do it. I mean, I've got a little pillowcase here, which has been rehooped and redone with one design. So, again, you can buy some plain... Where are we? Some plain bed linen. And that's a single design.
Simple.
So it's just really straightforward. And it just makes it really, really personal.
But all of a sudden, this is really visually interesting. It's got something to say.
It's not just a plain white pillowcase. No.
It's and if you were buying that in the shops as well, it would be a lot more expensive for those embroidery, that embroidery detail. Our machine stopped whizzing away, so is that a key for a change of colour?
So I'm just going to pop this one off.
Let's just watch Jayne.
Press the foot up. And it will always give me instructions. It won't do anything without asking first. So if you've forgotten to do something, my favourite one is forgetting to put the presser foot back down again. So it's always going to ask me what I want to do. Can I get this one out? There we go.
So you just thread this, as you said, like a regular sewing machine?
Like a normal sewing machine. There's nothing different at all. And again, pop that one on. It goes on there. Pop the little spool cap on. Again, there's a spare one of these. We'll go through this in a minute. Match that up to the size of your spool. That comes off, so we go in there. And it's across the top. It is actually numbered on the top, if you have a look. It goes 1, 2, 3. And it's showing you the solid line is always how you thread the needle. And again, same as sewing machines, make sure your presser foot's up when you thread it, because it opens a tension disc. I can pop it down now. And it's through the thread guide there. If you guys can see it through number 5.
Just following those numbers.
It is literally very easy. That's down. Needle threader, which is great. So it's down, pop it round, through, and it just pops it through. It makes life so much easier.
Really quick and simple in terms of
and
changing
then
colours.
I'm ready to start stitching again. I'll do a few stitches with these. Make sure you've moved away from the end that you're actually stitching. I have on more than one occasion cut the wrong thread. There we go. And I can just pop that down, and off it goes again quite happily.
And then we just step away?
We can step away and leave it. It's quite happy.
So you can see.
Take one now. Do the second colour for me. It's got 7 minutes left on this colour.
So there's nothing we need to do now. That's just going to do it.
It's quite happy. If it does, the thread snaps or the bobbin runs out, it will stop virtually immediately for you to change. And then I just go, you can pop back a couple of stitches on there. We'll talk through the screen later. And then off you go again.
In terms of the technical features of the machine, we've actually got, I think we've got sort of a PowerPoint of some of the different things that the machine offers, and it's sometimes easier for us to show it to you like that. So let's just have a look at that. This is the embroidery machine you can see there. But so on the top, you've got that protective cover with all of your designs built in. So you can see 100 built-in designs in that top lid, and that's great. It serves as a really great quick reference guide if you want to pick one from there. Then we've got the LCD touch screen, so you can just use that like you would, you know, anything digital nowadays, where you're just going to tap that either with your finger or using. You tend to use the little.
I use it's a little cleaning brush, just gently with it, not too hard.
Just use the end of that to tap away.
Yes.
Then also we've got the USB port on the side.
Yes,
obviously
which
is a
opens.
technical feature.
There's a little. The guys can catch that one. I'll open it on the side if they can get down there in a minute and have a look at that. I'm making them work today. It's bank holiday.
They're going to have to jump all around with cameras.
Yeah.
With that, obviously, we've spoken about giving you the freedom to incorporate different designs. Oh, there it is. You can see it. It's just coming now.
Yeah.
There
it's on the bottom down here. So it's just a standard memory stick, a low gigabyte memory stick. And then you just, we'll go through the screen in a minute, because you do need to format it to the machine so the machine will recognise it.
Yeah.
And then literally when you download your designs, you just transfer them onto a memory stick like you would anything else. Make sure it's in the right folder in the machine and select it.
So you could have a folder of different designs.
I keep all my embroidery designs on the computer, and then I just take out the ones I want. Because if you put loads and loads on your memory stick, you've still got to go right through looking for them. Yeah. So I tend to just take off what I'm using
at the
time.
Yeah, that's probably
you can save them in the machine as well if you want to. But again, it's personal choice. It's whichever one's easier for you.
I guess as well, if it's one that you're going to use all the time, so
save it in the machine.
Perhaps your family initial or something like that.
Save it into the machine.
Then, so you can. There's actually a feature to keep that locked into the machine.
Yes, you can. You've got a memory on the machine, so it will remember some for you. Yeah.
And the screen itself, we skimmed over the fact that it's touch screen, but if we just look at how you sort of use that. As Jayne was saying,
it's got the stitch count going on here at the moment. I don't know if the guys...
So it's counting down how many you've got left?
How many stitches you've got that it's done.
How many has it done? 2,367 and counting.
Going up all the time. It's telling me how long I've got left on the design, how many colours are in the design, the size of the design. You can put millimetres on if you want as well. You've got the option inches or millimetres.
Oh, so you could choose.
I tend to set with inches though. The hoop size that you need to use on here, and it's got some other little icons here which are greyed out at the moment because the machine's busy sewing. And it's showing me on the top how to select the different ones. That's for the alphabets. There's the cards, memory sticks, and you can do some editing. So we could put some font on if we wanted to as well. We could actually do it on this one. We can go back because the design is central when it comes into the machine.
So if you wanted to incorporate another design into it as well, you could.
Yeah,
you could
do.
If you wanted to.
So long as I've not moved that and I know exactly where that is, and I can go back and take some designs around the outside. We could do that in a little while if you want.
How, as well, if you're fitting something bigger in, so say like a towel or something like that, how does that work?
It's like anything. It's just you would hoop it quite flat, so we've got it quite flat. You would hoop it, and then I would just tuck this out of the way. I would roll it and just make sure it's not catching on anything, so that you've got it, and it's not dragging on the machine.
You've got quite a lot of space, haven't you?
You have got plenty of space, and again, with a lot of these, you can put them in either way. So with that one, I could put it in sideways if I wanted to, or I could put it on so it's same with the end on, and just roll the excess out of the way.
Just to get it out.
Yeah, and just clip it and make sure and keep an eye on it. Sometimes I've got something that's quite bulky and there's a lot there. I will keep an eye on it just to make sure that it doesn't come unrolled halfway through.
Yes.
Because you can guarantee the one time you don't is the time it will come and catch.
If you are working with a towel or something like that, and obviously with all of these you use a stabiliser.
Yes.
So what is a stabiliser if someone isn't sure?
The stabiliser, I think we've got some on the show today, haven't we? We've got a whole pack, yeah. We've got
a pack.
That's a really nice pack to start with.
I've spotted this in your trolley that you
have. I've got one and I've used some of it already.
This is the one that Jayne uses.
That I've got. It's a lovely pack. I'm going to get this one here. Here's one I made earlier. I'll open this because I've opened it.
Okay.
We're getting a bit messy on here today. It's a lovely pack. You get a whole range. You've got 12 different stabilisers in here that will cover most things.
So
most different things.
For?
The stabiliser, what it does, it stabilises the fabric. If I was doing like a T-shirt or things like that, you need to stabilise that fabric because it's really, really stretchy.
So it's something that you put on the bottom?
You put it on the bottom. Sometimes you put it on the top as well, though, just to confuse things.
Because we can.
What's lovely with this is you actually get this little know-how book in there as well. And it goes through every single stabiliser. It's telling you what's in there. And it tells you how to use it, when you would need to use it. It's multi-language in here as well. So it's got the tear-away stabiliser. So you've got that couple of paragraphs that tells you how to use it and when you would use it.
So, fabric dependent or perhaps size dependent?
They will do. It's just the fabrics. Different fabrics have different stabilisers. And the other lovely thing is the book is a really good reference point for you, but also you were getting a nice size piece of stabiliser. So I've had sample packs before where you get a piece that's about 4 inches square and you can't actually use it. With this one, you could use this 2 or 3 different times, and you've also, on all of these, you've got a little sticker in the corner which tells you what this particular stabiliser is.
So if you get a bit confused or you're not sure once you've opened the pack,
you've always got that there. It's on the corner, so it's not just a whole load of different stabilisers that you're guessing. You're thinking, well, was it this one or was it that one? Have I moved the order of them? It's great. They've all got that, and saying they are a really good usable size as well. So for that, you would probably get 3, probably even more out of the small hoopings out of it. So you can try it out. Obviously, you can buy much bigger packs of this or buy it off the roll, but as a starting point, this is brilliant. It will keep you going for ages.
Well, also, it gives you the opportunity to experiment with different fabrics. You can't use the machine without a stabiliser, so you do need this.
You do need the pack
for embroidery
just to do it. So, and with the lovely big size of it, you have got a decent sized piece to work with. Not some tiny. I've got some little packs somewhere that are tiny, and you're just thinking, yes, that's interesting. And again, so you've got the black ones as well if you're doing a dark fabric.
So you're better to use, obviously, a darker stabiliser if you're using a navy or
it will tell you in the book when to use everything. So they are lovely. There's a whole different range. So you've got the 12 in there. It does go through in the book.
Just generally, I know it's sort of quite a wide question, but what do we use the tear away, the wash away, the cut away? What do they? The
one I use most, if I'm honest, is a tear away. It's a standard tear away. We've got some of that somewhere as well, and that works for a lot of things. But there are times you've got this one where it'll have a sticky back on it, so you can actually hoop it and you can cut away this, so you can actually place something on it. So you haven't got to hoop it and stretch it. No. So if you're doing T-shirts and things like that, or baby grows, anything like that, you can pop some of that, hoop the stabiliser, just cut out the square where you're going to put your garment. And then you can take that off afterwards. You haven't stretched the hoop, stretched the garment in the hoop. Yes.
Yeah, no, I understand what
you're
saying.
There are so many different ones in here, and it's just lovely because they are a nice size piece to play with.
Can we see you hoop it up and see how you actually do that? Are we done? I think our machine stopped.
It's finished, yes. We can come back to this one in a minute.
So quick. I mean, imagine, you couldn't even, how long this would take you to do otherwise.
It's 12 minutes in total, that. I mean, to do that by hand even, I mean, I haven't got the time.
Thinking about.
It's beautiful. Hand embroidery is fantastic. There's absolutely nothing. But these days, we're all rushing about everywhere, aren't we? Trying to do about 10 things at once.
Do you know what's lovely about this as well? If you had a company logo or, a business logo and you want to have lots of people, have polo shirts or uniforms where you've got your company name on them, or say a netball team or a football team, you could just program the machine and all you've got to do is change in and out the garment.
The lettering in. You can, there is software, we'll have to maybe have a look at that another time. You can get software to go with these machines, which gives you a whole new avenue that you can explore. Equally, there are a lot of places online that will digitise emblems and things for you quite cheaply. So
this is the one we've just done. This, you know, we put the threads in. That's literally all we had to do, and you select your design and off you go. 12 minutes. I mean, it's just beautiful. And as we were saying, it is so fashionable and trendy at the moment to have embroidery, you know, on clothes or on a denim jacket or a shirt, or, you know, and all of these different designs. Even this, you know, you could incorporate these however which way you want, and also in different colourways. You don't have to follow the colours that are in those designs.
You can do whatever you like, whatever you like. The machine's not clever enough to know if you put pink in there instead of yellow.
No, it doesn't. It's not going to tell you off.
No,
it won't say put the wrong colour in.
No.
So no, you're all good to go. You know, to pick whichever colours depending on what fabrics you're working with. And obviously that's more of sort of an intricate design, but if you want to go for, maybe we should do it at an emblem or some font or something like that.
We'll do some font. I can take that one out. So literally to take it out, I'll just pop it out. It's quite straightforward like that. There we go.
And this here has got, so this is the stabiliser and pack we're talking about, using the different stabilisers with the different fabrics. And this is really popular already this morning. If you do like this one, it's the Premium Stabiliser Starter Set. You've got 12 different stabilisers in there, so it's a really great way, as Jayne was saying, of sort of getting a sample, but a really, you know, usable, sizable sample like this one here. That you have to use this with when you're embroidering, and for different fabrics you've got wash away, cut away, tear away, and using this to stabilise the fabric for those different embroidery designs. £11.95 as well is great.
That's very good value, yes.
Like really great value to try it.
Yeah. So I'm going to do, I'll just always, when you're hooping your fabrics, always hoop on a really nice firm surface. Okay. Don't try and hoop on your knee or even the, but people will do it.
The arm of the sofa.
The arm of the sofa. Even the ironing board I find is a bit squishy. Because if you don't get the hooping and the stabilising correct, you're not going to get a good finished product at the end of it.
So you need to go for it. So it's in the prep, really.
Yeah.
So the hoops all come with the machine.
They all come with the machine. The 2 hoop sizes. I'll just squish that one out the bottom.
You can see that slightly bigger one there as well.
That's a slightly bigger one. We'll pop it into here and we'll do that. There we go. Just tighten up the screw. Don't over tighten it, and please don't tighten it with the screwdriver.
Okay.
Because you will thread the screw eventually. And you can get new screws, but it's very frustrating if you want to embroider something.
Yes.
So it's just make sure it's tight. It's worth spending the time doing that. Hooping it up, make sure it's nice and firm in there.
As you would do with normal embroidery.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Again, you've got the little butterfly screw on the back, which just hooks in here. It's quite straightforward. That just clips in onto here. Is
there an extra lift on that foot that you can just... it's quite easy to slide that in, wasn't it?
You can go, you have got an extra lift, but you don't need the extra lift. It's designed so the hoop will slide underneath. If I had something really heavy that I'd hooped, then I may need to take the extra lift just to get the bulk of it underneath the foot.
A bit more space. Yeah. So that was really simple.
It's very quick and easy.
Just locked that into place.
And again, make sure you've got quite a reasonable margin around it. I mean, that was a little bit small, but make sure you've got a reasonable margin so you can get that tension on the whatever you're embroidering. This is just an iron-on stabiliser with normal white felt.
So you've ironed the stabiliser onto the felt, popped it in the hoop, locked it into place, and then we just pick a design.
We can pick a design. So
shall we go for a font or maybe a monogram? I think the personalisation side of it for me is really where it comes into its own, because I think it's, you know, it's how expensive does it look to give someone a gift or to even to have things in your home that are
these big cushions with big initials on are very popular at the moment as well, aren't they? So it's things like
that. Yeah. But even I think as wedding gifts, or if you have a guest bedroom or anything like that, and to have everything personalised.
I quilt, so it's brilliant to do quilt labels and things like that, where you can do all your quilt labels on them.
Or it's like a signature you could have on the, you know, the bottom of your
You can get different fonts as well that have been digitised to stitch out, so you can buy those online, so you can get some really nice ones. There's a whole raft of them. There's children's ones. There's everything. We could be here all day talking about fonts. Right, I'm going to go back to here, and I'm just going to show you. I've just pressed the little where it says A to Z button there, and it comes up with this screen here. So you have on here, you can get upper and lower case, and you've also got small, medium and large, which we've seen in the book. I'll leave it on medium, but if I press a little font button here, it tells me I can have Gothic, Script, Cheltenham, and 2 or 3 letters on a monogram.
Oh, so that was what we saw in the folder, wasn't it, with your different designs?
If we do with 3 letters, should we? And you have here, you've got 4 choices to put on the around the outside
in sort
of
of
the
how you
monogram.
want it
Yeah,
to
I
be
don't know what
to
they're
go
called. I
around
don't
it.
know what they call the little pieces on
Maybe
the side.
like a border, maybe.
Yes, it could be. I think we'll go for the nice one. So you must put that in first. Select that first, and then just choose the letters. Do we have any letters we want to put in? 3 letters.
AMY.
Okay, we'll go.
Should we go for that?
We'll go for A. We'll be original.
That was an easy one.
AMY.
I'm trying to think of another 3-letter name. That was the first obviously the first 3-letter name that came to my head.
Oh dear.
If it was probably initials. I think
you put initials. But you can see it's just gone in there. So I just need to press OK.
Could do Jan. Now I'm thinking of 3.
We could do Joy as well.
We could do Joy. Maybe we should have done Joy.
Never mind. We'll do Joy next time.
We'll do Joy after.
It's telling me what hoop size I need. So it's telling me hoop size 8, which is great. If I'd put hoop size B on, it would have been fine because it's a bigger hoop.
OK.
But if it tells you to use a bigger hoop, don't try and use a small hoop because it won't fit in.
It's not going to like it.
No, it won't at all. So it's what I mean. It won't do anything without telling you first what you need to be doing to make sure that you're OK with it. So
it prompts you. It's quite happy to prompt you
constantly.
in terms of...
I'm going to take that off. Now, what colour would you like your name in?
Oh, there's lots of options. I like this one. Maybe we should go for this purple pink.
This one?
That's lovely. You get a lovely sheen as well with these designs.
These are specific embroidery threads. They're usually polyester or rayon. These are some polysheen ones I've got. And again, the other thing to remember with this is you do need a specific bobbin fill with this. You can't just pop normal thread in. The bobbin fill's quite fine.
OK.
And it does last a very, very long time. So again, its threading is exactly the same as your machine. Round, round. Make sure my presser foot's up. Through that one.
Jane's got a barcode on her hand.
I'm always barcoded.
Producer Paul upstairs says, what happens if we scan Jane's hand? What do we...
I don't think I'm on the system, to be honest. So they will do. So that's it. And we're good to go now. So it's going to start over in the corner for me again. A few stitches and we'll take the long end off then. Like, always just being cautious.
It's just that first stitch you have to...
It's the first stitch, as I say, on more than one occasion, I have cut the wrong thread. So you get your little scissors, which are really nice for the embroidery. They're tiny. I'll take my barcode off. Or it'll be scanning me. It'll be scanning me on the way out. Yeah. So you do get...
So these scissors all cut, everything comes with this?
This comes with the machine. So you've got your little scissors there. Just maybe we haven't looked at these yet. That's a little brush. That's for cleaning the machine. And I use that little end for all sorts of moving threads, all kinds of things. And again, I'll use a touch screen with it. You're also getting... You get a bobbin in the machine. They're standard bobbins. There's nothing...
You get loads of things, bits and pieces with it.
So you've got 4 extra... So you've got 5 bobbins in total. And you can use the ones... If you've got your Elna sewing machine, you can use the bobbins off there because they're all exactly the same.
Oh,
so
great.
you haven't got to go and buy any more. You're also getting the extra spool caps. If I was using a larger spool of thread, pop that one on instead.
OK, just where we popped it in the top of the machine to lock it into
small
place.
Ones on there. Your screwdriver. OK, little screwdriver, which is quite handy for getting underneath. Packet of spare needles, and you've also got a spare spool pin, which sits on the top of the machine. We can pop that one in a minute. And a little felt that goes on top of it. So they're all coming with the machine.
Is that for a vertical spool, or is that just
you can put it for a vertical spool if you want. Sometimes you might have a slightly heavier spool that won't go on there. It's a little bit longer, or some threads. It's a case of sampling with these. Some threads run off better upright as well. I quite often put metallics upright, and they...
It depends how they're wound sometimes as well, doesn't it? How they sort of come off the spool.
It does sometimes. So there's all different ways. But again, you know, don't be frightened to have a practice with it. I always say to people when they buy these, go and buy some tea towels, some cheap tea towels or something like that, and just go and play with it.
Just see what...
Because if it all goes horribly wrong, you've still got a tea towel. It's not the end of the world.
And if it's slightly wonky or didn't
quite... Fine. It
minds.
is a trial and error, but the most important thing is that stabilising and hooping. You really do need to get that correct.
So that stabiliser and starter kit that we have got this morning is really, really popular. That's on the bottom of your screens at the moment. UAGQ54. It's $11.95, so you've got the 12 different stabilisers in there. Like Jane said, you do have to use these. We will have another look at that in a sec. Let's just carry on. What else comes with this machine? So
you have got your nice instruction manual.
This is like a Bible.
It is, yes. So that's got all your instructions in there. And it's very... I'll let you hold on to that one.
Okay.
And it's very straightforward. It tells you everything, how to attach in the hoop.
All of your
you've gone on here,
instructions.
embroidering on different areas, small areas, how you use the screen, how to set your embroideries. So
using
it
them with the
really
different
does,
designs.
yeah.
And it's a really sort of comprehensive guide to everything you need to know about the machine.
And there's a little bit of troubleshooting at the back, so if you've got any problems sometimes, there's a little troubleshooting guide at the back.
And also, this is the sort of thing you might not necessarily, as with any instruction guide, you might not... Oh, there's all of your designs
Those are all
as well.
the designs again in there, yeah. And again, the fonts are different fonts, so you can have a look at those.
Oh, yeah.
2 and 3 letters.
And my initials again, popping up, AB. So you've got...
So you're
troubleshooting,
troubleshooting
yes.
it, and it tells you, if if your thread's breaking, that, it's just a little quick guide, because sometimes it can be quite frustrating, and it's usually something really simple that's causing it, so that's quite nice to see as well.
And it's the sort of thing you could just have by your machine, and you might not use... You might not even use parts of it to start with, and then you go, oh, do you know, I'm going to try something else. Or
always have a look. I always say to people, have a quick flick through to get the basics, then dip in and out when you need to know something more technical, as it were, rather than trying to digest everything at once.
In one go.
Just look at it when you need it. Think, oh, I want to put some font in. Right, how do I do that? Go
so
and have
the
a look.
sequence of play is get your machine, get some tea towels, set it going, have a little read.
Get your embroidery threads. And do something really basic just to have that little go, because as it comes out the box, it's just ready to plug in and go. You don't need to do anything.
That just looks so cool. I love it. And so quick as well.
And it's quite happy it'll sit there doing that.
And there's nothing.
No
Here.
We can walk well away.
We can step right away to the side of the machine. We're not anywhere near it. We're not touching that machine.
No, so it's quite happy. It'll just go on its own.
You know, there's nothing going on. There's no magic tricks. There's no pedal. It just whizzes away and does it by itself. So we've got your instructions. You've got all these little bits and pieces. What else have we got?
You also get your templates, which are quite nice if you want to line something up perfectly. It's showing you the needle is always centre point, so you can put that if you want. If you wanted that centre point on there, when you're hooping it, you can get that so you've got your centre point where you want it. So you know the machine may go and start embroidering up here, but that's always the centre point of the design.
The focal section is going to land where that centre point
of the design. So that's quite nice to use that.
So say, for example, if on this shoe bag you wanted to put a shoe in the corner, you would just make sure that centre point was...
Yes, you would hoop it up. You know, I might put a little dot with a marker in there first, then hoop it up and make sure. And you have got the option to move it slightly within the hoop. If you're not quite central, you can move the machine slightly within the confines of that hoop. And just you can use those. And there are 2 different sizes, obviously. 2 different sizes, 1 for each. For the 2 different hoops. Yeah. You've also got, which is a really handy little thing, for every single design that there is, there's one of these, like it's like a little parchment. And you can cut those out, and that is the size that the design embroiders out at. Standard size. If you've altered it, obviously it's going to be slightly different. But you could lay this onto your project so you can see it's too big, it's too small, I maybe need to move it this way or that. And then, again, each one has got the little crosshair on it here to show you the centre point of the design. So if I wanted to pop tape measure on my new freshly made sewing machine cover, then you could just pop that central, you could cut that out, use that central cross to place it exactly where you want it. You've got a sewing machine there. There's a sewing machine on there as well. So they really are handy. And I mean, I haven't cut these. If you cut them up, just pop them in a little folder so you don't lose them. They're the larger ones as well. Some really nice big bold designs as well. If you want for tape, I think as well, as we were saying, for placemats or for table runners. And yeah, it's great. Yeah. But there are hundreds of these in here. And again, you tend to find, if you buy designs on the internet, you will be able to usually download a template with them as well, so you can do the same thing, but it will be paper, so obviously you can't see through it. So also, if you're using this with the starting point, that central one, you can use those to line up. You can get really accurate placement for where you want to put them. On your designs. Now, also, what is incredible about this machine is the postage and packaging. So here at Sewing Quarter, £2.95, regardless of what you're buying. And I mean, you could order 10 of these machines. It doesn't matter how heavy it is, how big and bulky. If you were paying for postage on that, it would be so much more. £2.95 just for for that whole machine to be delivered to you, and that's capped at midnight. So if you add extra things ordered in the day, you're only going to pay that one amount on that machine, which is brilliant because postage just got pretty expensive. It is very expensive now, postage. Yes, unfortunately. Now remember as well, if you've got any questions, I didn't mention this for Jayne at the beginning of the show. Please get in touch, and if you want to ask anything specific about the machines or about Elna or anything at all, and what Jayne had for breakfast, you can ask her. So you can email us. Far too early. Oh no, you need to have something. Early in the morning. So you can email us studio@sewingquarter.com, or you can go to the website, and if you go to the watch page, there's a message to the studio box. Send us a little message and let us know if you've got any questions this morning about this machine.
So let's just look a little bit more at this stabiliser kit because it's been really popular this morning. So I'm just going to move these.
We do make a mess.
Oh, we're running low on stock on this already. I know we've got lots of...
It is such a nice set. So I've opened this one and used it, and I've got
this
something
is
we
your
can
set.
do later.
I don't want to confuse you, so you can take your one home.
So I'll carry on playing with it.
So can you show us how some of these are used or what we do with them?
Well, what we've got here is my little owl I did last night using the water-soluble, and it's just got a tearaway on the back.
OK.
The guys can pick that. It's just a normal tearaway. So I've hooped it, embroidered it, I've moved it so I put it right into the corner. If you can see, I've got the wash away on top.
Yeah.
If I don't use that, that stitching will disappear into the pile.
Ah, so this is going to enable the design to stand out.
It sits on top of the pile, and then I've cut that down. And as you can see, where's my little piece of stabiliser I use? It's just to make... Let you see. Was it that one? Yeah. And that's all I've used. I literally laid that on the top of the design, kept an eye on it so it didn't get caught. So I've only used a tiny piece out of the corner.
And you've still got all of that.
And I've still got all of this left.
Forward.
You don't need to hoop the whole hoop with this in. It's just covering that design. But just keep an eye and make sure you get some decent margins on it, a bit of space, and just keep an eye to make sure it doesn't catch it and fold it under while you're doing it.
And so this is great if you are using thicker fabrics, so like a towel or something like that.
Anything with a pile on, you'd need to put your water-soluble on top. And this is quite a light water-soluble. It's quite...
So fleece or anything like that?
Fleece, velvet, toweling, anything like that.
And you pop the stabiliser onto the fabric, and then when it's done, we obviously, depending on whether you've used a cutaway, a tearaway, a wash away,
you can take it away. Yeah, you can take away obviously the cutaway. You cut, the wash away, you wash, and the tear. It's quite self-explanatory. It's a bit like your fabric.
It does what it says on the tin.
That's it. And with that one now, we can. I'll just take the excess off there. Just pull it off quite gently, because it's stitched heavily around it. It's going to be
most of it will just come off.
Yeah, it'll just pull off. Just take the main off around the outside. And again, I keep these little pieces in a jar.
Oh, do you?
Well, it can be quite expensive to buy. And if I wanted to, say, use some organza or something really light, I would make these into like a little solution with some more water, dip the fabric in it, leave it to dry, so you've already got it quite stabilised before you start, so it just makes... And again, we don't like throwing things away.
No,
so
no, definitely not. We've got a little bin under our desk that all of the designers throw fabric scraps into, and sometimes they come and look and actually take things out of the bin, the fabric scrap bin.
We have to do that. Somewhere we've got some water, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
We did.
We had a debate this morning with our floor manager, because we said we need warm water, and we said if we get to this point and the water's not warm, we're all
going home. Yeah, it is. It's just tepid. I'm just going to literally pop that in, and you will see it just dissolves out. You'd need to pop it through.
Or you could put it in the washing machine.
You can pop it in the washing. I usually just pop it in the sink. If you feel it at the moment, it still feels a little bit sticky on the top.
Oh yes.
It needs a really good wash. But I'm just going to be... I think he could have got a bowl, couldn't he, instead of a glass.
A bit bigger.
Yeah. But I'll give that a little bit. But you can see that that has gone now.
It's just come away completely.
It's come away completely.
But that design is sitting...
It's still sitting on top. If I hadn't put that on the top, that would have been very patchy. It would have sort of sunk into the fabric, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But he's lovely.
A really lovely, crisp design that you can actually see. It's not just disappeared.
It's not just vanished into it. The first one I ever did, I didn't know, which many years ago, I didn't know you had to use that. And I was so disappointed.
It didn't look quite how you expected.
Is that it? So, but no, put that on the top. And again, if you want to do lace, you can do lace designs on these machines.
Lace?
You can make lace. I'll have to bring you some in. I'll have to bring a design in. Be careful again. If you've got wet hands, be very careful when you start touching this.
That's going to become
because it will stick to your fingers. Again, so you've got an Ultra here, which is a much heavier weight one. And this is great. Pop it out. And this is great because it's quite heavy. You can feel it. It feels like thick.
That's a much thicker one,
feels
actually,
like
isn't
thick
it?
Plastic. That's brilliant for sewing lace onto because it will hold it. It's strong enough to hold it. And again, if you're doing lace, make sure you put the same thread in the top and bottom because you can see the back.
Oh, of course. So rather than having that a different one in the bobbin, you're going to go for
you pop the same thread on both, and then it does it. But that's just a nice
so you've got all different.
This is the beauty of this.
Different fabrics.
For different fabrics, different uses. Again, you can see where that's damp on my fingers and it's curling.
Just keep it nice and dry.
It's lovely usable sizes as well.
And then some of these other ones we said were the tearaway, which is so satisfying. You can just pull it away, can't you?
After put it away
when you finish your
There's just a huge
design.
raft on there, different ones. Some of them say are sticky. I can pull that off. That's a sticky one, so you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's just a huge amount. So that book is so comprehensive, wherever we've hidden it at.
It would tell you which ones.
That it tells you when to use them and what you'd use them for. So you've got your water soluble here. And it's telling you what it's for, looped and knitted fabrics. And
so
it tells you when you'd use it, how to use it, and why you're using it as well.
So you actually have a bit of an understanding rather than just sort of doing it.
And again, it's another one, firm one, so detailed embroidery, it doesn't tear.
So it's every time I know it's obvious in the title, but it's stabilising that fabric to stop the embroidery from, you know, to keep it
distorting. And again, it's getting used to doing that and doing that correctly, and then you will get excellent results every time.
And this starter kit, which has been really, really popular today, is, you know, you have to have some sort of stabiliser with an embroidery machine or with any embroidery.
Any embroidery.
And this one here is just a very popular one because you've got so many different selections in there, and it's great value as well. Actually,
it's fabulous value.
$11.95.
Yeah. And it's nice, and it gets you looking at stabilisers and thinking about what your different fabrics and how to work with them. And also, you may find out of this pack that there's 3 or 4 that you really like and use a lot. Yeah. So you can go and buy bigger pieces of them.
I was just going to say, it's kind of like a tester if you want to, particularly if you've just got a machine and you know, you're not sure what you're going to embroider more of, and you might find you use a lot of the wash away or a lot of, and then you can focus on that.
Then you can go and buy some more of that in bulk, yes.
But as an intro.
But as an intro.
Sorry, my eye just caught what's going on over here. It's just, it is so clever. We're just leaving that machine to do the work.
On its own, quite happily.
We're going to put our designers out of a job. So how many stitches has this one done so far?
That one has done 4,000, just over 4,000 so
4,000 stitches in the 8 minutes that we've been talking about stabiliser. It's amazing. So that pack there is the one that's on your screen, UAGQ54. Please do check out your baskets on that one today. It's been really, really popular, and you can get that on the website or through the call centre. Now, we've also just got a stitch and tear backing. So if you do find you just use this one...
Stitch and tear, it's quite nice because it's a larger piece.
Yep.
So how big it is? Oh, I haven't opened that one.
I haven't opened, I won't open it. But I can tell you how big it is. It is 90 centimetres by 36 centimetres. So this is if you find yourself just using one for stitch and tear. So you can use this for hand embroidery as well, if you want to.
Yes, you can do. Or even if you're using decorative stitches on your sewing machine, it will just stabilise the fabric if you're doing it on a single layer. So
lots of options for that. This one's from Visaline.
And again, it's a nice bit to have in your kit because it means if you're sort of ordering at the same time as the machine, they'll arrive together, hopefully. And you can play straight away.
You haven't got to wait for anything else.
Yeah, you haven't got to nip
I
out to the
can't
shops.
open this. Now I've got to actually... Let's see. So this one's only $2.95. Let's see. Here it is.
There we go. So it's a decent sized piece. You can get several hoopings out of it.
Yes. Sometimes measurements don't quite... You can't always visualise, can you?
That's why everything in inches. So it is a decent piece. So if you're looking at the larger hoop, you know, you would get quite a few hoopings out of that, wouldn't you?
Probably five.
Yeah.
Depending on which size hoop.
Yeah.
Finished. Was that the magic beep?
It was the magic beeps. If I take this off, I'll pop that up, and I'll just trim out in between where it's jumped across.
So clever.
That.
I just love that you don't have to do anything. It just does it.
It is brilliant. If you're sewing, I've got a combined machine at home, and sometimes I've been sewing, I'm thinking, I want to do an embroidery, so I'll be embroidering. I'm thinking, well, I need to sew, so I'll have to go. I'm lucky, I've got more than one. So I have to go and get something else out, or I think I'll do the ironing or do some cutting out. But when you've got 2 separate machines, it means you can still carry on working with your sewing while this is quite happily embroidering away for you.
For a newborn as well, this would be lovely for
fabulous,
gifts, you know, if you want to personalise things for a new baby in the family. I know, I'm not a baby and I love this. Look at this, so clever.
It's just gone,
Really cool. Producer Paul said this is wicked. He's loving it.
We'll have to do Producer Paul's initials
next time. We should do, yes. We could, but imagine that, on a towel, or you could just use that and then you could applique it.
Well, again, saying that's a little one that's on a flannel, so if you're doing personalised things... And again, for gifts, it's absolutely brilliant to do things. Dressing gowns, anything like that.
Dressing gown, yes. I might bring my dressing gown in next time.
Bring your dressing gown in.
Can I bring my own dressing gown in?
Yes, if you want, and we'll get you personalised.
That would be... But as for a present, you could buy for Christmas, particularly for Christmas, and imagine having everything all personalised, and that's it really does add an extra... I think it just looks so expensive.
And again, say for weddings, anything like that. It's brilliant. Napkins, say towels... placemats, everything. You can embroider on card if you want to as well. I've embroidered on card before now. So if you're doing your little name labels, you could do those and put little something on it, gift tags. Like again, if you're doing on card, again, make sure you stabilise it on the back, otherwise it'll just perforate and fall out when you take it out. So there is a whole raft. I've embroidered on lots of things over the years, and sometimes it's a case of just having a little bit of trial and error.
Just have a go.
Yeah, just have a little play, get some scraps and have a little play with things that you've got already. We've
got 2 questions, actually, so let's have a look. This is from Susan. Morning, Susan, in Norfolk. Good sunny morning. I'm glad it's sunny.
I'm glad it's sunny.
We're not sure we're in here. There's no windows. What size is the hoop, please?
OK, this hoop, your largest embroidery size is 5.5 by 7.9 inches.
OK.
OK, and on the smaller hoop, it is 5 by 4.3.
OK, so 5 by 4.3
is the largest embroidery size. The hoops are slightly bigger, obviously, because you've got the space for the machine to travel. But those are the largest embroidery sizes that you can do in them. Yeah.
But you can, if you want to scale up the design, you could, you know, like the repeated, the pillowcase is a good example.
You can rehoop it, you can mark it and rehoop it.
Like this,
yeah.
You know, you can
so that's just rehoop, that's a double design, and it's just, you can see it, so it's these two. So you can just move along.
You can just move it along and, you know, fit it onto a bigger one. So I hope that helps, Sue. And then let's also see from Jane. Morning, Jane. What stabiliser would I use for T-shirts?
I would use a sticky one where you would hoop the stabiliser, then pull the piece back so it sticks on.
OK.
Rather than trying to hoop a T-shirt because it's a very stretchy fabric. I have hooped T-shirts, and hooped them very carefully. But sometimes, especially if it's quite a dense design, when you unhoop it, it'll pull back in again. It'll look distorted.
So really, you want to keep it nice and close together when you're actually doing it.
I would actually just get an old T-shirt, even if you cut it up, and have a little play with different stabilisers till you're comfortable with the results that you get at the end.
But it's always I
would use a sticky one. I tend to use a sticky one for those. And again, just pat it on carefully. Don't pull it and stretch it when you put it on, because again, when you pull it off, it'll shrink back in and distort it. Yeah.
I hope that helps, Jane. Over half the stock of the stabiliser sets have actually gone now. So UAGQ54, if you do like that one, you want to try, as Jane was saying, you know, perhaps the sticky stabiliser, you've got your tear away, your wash away, your cut away, so different options there in this kit. It comes with all of your instructions with how to use it, and there are 12 different stabilisers on the front here. So you've got cotton soft, cotton stable, you know, all different ones for washing away to pop in the washing machine or just using with warm water. So please do check out your baskets on that. But the machine itself coming with all sorts of different accessories. You've got the really thorough instruction manual there.
You've got lovely instruction manual. So you've got all the parchments there for your design placement. We've also got the full colour printout there.
Yes.
We're very messy today, aren't we?
Sorry,
they won't invite us back again. But you've also got a nice cover for it as well.
This one here.
Although it'd be lovely to take a pattern off that and embroider yourself a nice cover to go on the top, couldn't you?
You've got to have. You can't have an embroidery machine without your own name or something on there.
So you could do that one. And again, this is just a full colours, reasonably large size, but they aren't full size. It's telling you here 45% of the designs that are built into the machine. So you've got both sides of that again.
And around the actual the sort of plate here, this comes away, doesn't it?
This will come off here. Let's pull in it.
Got about a minute or so.
Pulling it hard. You've got to pull it hard. It does come off. I'm trying to take my little bit off. It is. Oh, throw it at me.
But you've got the storage.
So you have got the free arm then. So you've got that free arm capability. So you've got something that's quite, say, a bag or something like that. You could hoop it and slide it on. Again, I would keep an eye on it. I wouldn't go off and leave it if I've got something hooped on like that, just to be on the safe side, just to make sure it's all going and not catching anyway.
And in here as well?
In here you've got storage. There we go. So you've got your storage box there, so you can put your bobbins in there, all little bits and pieces that go in the machine.
Amazing. We could talk about this machine for hours.
We could.
But thank you so much for my lovely little embroidery here. This machine is your Elna Embroidery Machine, GEJE83. So many different things to offer, more than we can even possibly cover in an hour, but you can see some of the technical specifications there. All of the 100 built-in designs, the ability to use a USB to add extra designs as well, and all of these accessories too. And Jane, you're back in an hour. We've got some Elna sewing machines that
we have, with something new to go with them.
Some new that we've never had on the show before. We're launching some feet and accessories and
bits and pieces that we've got,
Well, don't tidy up. I'll come and tidy up in a minute.
That's okay.
I've made quite a mess this morning. Let's look at these fabrics. I want to take this with me. I really like this. I'm going to take it with me.
Okay.
So let's have a look at these different fabric bundles that we've got this morning. The pink would work really beautifully with, I've got my eye on this. So we've got 4 different fabric options, a blue colourway, a pink, a green and yellow and a classic. I'll start with, actually, which is most popular at the moment? The pink. Look at this. Would be perfect. So the pink bundle, you've got 2.5 metres of fabric in here and 5 different fabrics. You get half a metre of each. So you've got fuchsia, azalea, you've got candy floss spot on there, candy and baby pink. 2.5 metres in total. This one here is your linear look fabric. You can just see those, that sort of cross-hatch detail there. 19.45. That one is most popular, our pink this morning. Next up, which is next most popular? The classic. So we've got here sort of a nice nautical with red spot on. You've got a cream and a solid blue. So again, half a metre of all of these fabrics, 1.5 metres in this bundle here for 11.45. Let's move the green out of the way. You can just see that uniform blue and the spot on picking out that cream colour too. TTGC02. That's the classic bundle. Then we've also got our bright greens and yellows. So this here, again, is 2 solids and a spot on. So you've got that bright, bold green. You've got the grass... Actually, that's lime green there. And then your sunshine yellow. WHGC77. And finally is our blues. 2 spot-ons in this bundle. Your cross-hatches on a cream here. And then you've got a royal blue and a cornflower blue solid. Again, 2.5 metres of fabric in total. Half a metre of each of those cuts. There we go, MDGC 44 2095. Now, please do remember, if you want those stabilisers, you will need to check out your baskets on those. Those have nearly sold out this morning, so it's that starter kit, 12 different stabilisers in that pack there. It's the one that Jayne actually uses, UAGQ54. Please do give the call centre a ring or check out your basket if you like that one. I don't want you to miss out. And if you bought the machine, well, 1p&p on that machine this morning. So really, you know, you're not going to pay anything for that big machine that's going to be delivered to you. You can have a play, make something like this. Joy's waiting patiently in the wings. We'll be back in 3 minutes with some sewing machines.
Follow us on Pinterest. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to discover sewing work we create and love. It's easy to buy the products you see on our shows. To buy any of the items featured on today's programmes, just head over to our website www.sewingquarter.com. Click on the video stream and you'll be taken to our watch page. Here you'll find the product that is on air right now at the top of the page. Beneath that, you'll find all the products demonstrated in this morning's shows. To add an item to your basket, simply log into your account or register with us. Then you can either check out or keep shopping. Remember, our flat rate delivery charge lets you shop all day and check out as many times as you like and only pay once for postage and packing. Only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78. Did you know there are multiple ways you can contact us, even if it's just to ask a question? Our friendly team are always on standby. You can call our customer service team at 0800 112 4433, email us at help@sewingquarter.com, visit our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter at Sewing Quarter, and even message us through our website, and our presenters will answer your questions live on air.
Join John Scott and Tilly Rose on Friday the 1st of September for an extra special Tilda Harvest Day. From pumpkin oranges, dazzling blues and delicate floral patterns, this brand new collection from fabric designer Tilda is perfect to brighten up the autumnal nights. At 8 a.m, Tilly will be showing us her patchwork techniques, creating a patchwork cushion out of brand new Tilda fat quarter bundles. Tilly will be back on screen at 10 a.m. showing us how to turn these gorgeous new fabrics into a fabulous travel notebook cover, perfect for personalising those plain notebooks. Join John at 9 and 11 a.m. to see the full Tilda range showcased in all its glory. So make sure you don't miss out on the incredible new Tilda Harvest collection on September the 1st, 8 a.m. to midday, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.
Good morning, welcome back to Sewing Quarter this morning. If you didn't just see the magic of the embroidery machine, we've got some more magic now with a quilting machine, and I'm joined by Joy in this hour. I should try saying joined by Joy. We've got lots of judges, and we've also got this, and the lovely thing about this machine is the extra space you've got for that quilting. Joy's going to talk through all the technical features of that and how to really get the most out of a quilting machine. Now, I'm going to start with a couple of fabric bundle options that we've got for you this morning. And we've got two 2-metre bundles. I'm going to start with this one here. So the main print in this bundle is a butterfly. I'll open this out so you can sort of get a bit more of an idea of the design. Look at that. So colourful, bright and colourful. Lots of pinks and oranges. And in that background there, it's sort of a nice soft grey. So you have 1/2 metre of the butterflies. And there's actually some lovely detail with sort of the gradient. I don't know if you can see here on this butterfly, but they're not block solid colours. They almost look like they've been painted on. It's a lovely fabric, that. And that's been teamed with 3 solids. So this bundle, the first bundle, has been teamed with a really bright orange, picking out the details in the butterflies there. So this is pumpkin. So 1/2 metre of pumpkin. 1/2 metre of violet, which is your purple on the bottom, and 1/2 metre of fuchsia there. But you can just see picking out those colours in the butterfly fabric, WEGC88. That's our first colour option. I'm knocking books over left, right and centre. Let's move this to the side. And then we've also got a different colourway with a soft pale yellow and then a blue. And it's the same butterfly fabric I've just showed you there. But this is a slightly more muted bundle, actually, but with that lovely bright, bold yellow, picking out some details in the florals. So you've got 1/2 metre of lemon, 1/2 metre of pearl blue, which again is picking out some lovely detail in the butterflies. And then you've got charcoal there and the butterfly fabric. But that matches the background perfectly if you wanted to do, you know, perhaps the backing for a cushion or the lining of a bag. 1745 OOGC59. Those are 2 that we've got in today. So we've got those bundled up with some solids for you and some butterflies. Now, before I head over to meet Joy and to look at the quilting machine, we've just got 2 books that I want to show you first of all. Should we start with this tiny little mini one? This one here is everything at your fingertips. This is to, you know, you can pop this in your pocket, you can pop it in your handbag, take it on the go. It's a handy little pocket guide to everything you need to know about quilter's fabric. So as we go through here, you can just see, talking to you about fabric grain. Just a nice little sort of info book. This would be a lovely introduction if someone's, you know, new to quilting and they're a beginner. A lovely way for them to learn about fabric and, you know, the different colours and the value of the fabric and the characteristics of different prints, how to work those together. Add some sparkle. So you've got some nice, under £6, a lovely little present. Actually, in fact, it would be a perfect stocking filler. ELSP65, that lovely little book. And that's your handy pocket guide. Now, you've also got a slightly more, if we just look in comparison, a more regularly sized book. This one here is your Encyclopedia of Quilting. So this is a massive book full and bursting with information. This one here has got lots of techniques. It's not just quilting, but also patchwork. Some beautiful photography of some of the quilts in here. So at the beginning, talking you through the techniques and your block construction. All different blocks here. Oh, this is unusual. It's like a bow tie in the middle of that one. But then as we go through, you've also then got not just blocks, but you've got talking about speed piecing. You've got some different sections on the patchwork. And then as we go through, you've got a plié in here as well. And then finishing the quilt. And then at the back here, you've got some, you know, some different quilts that have been photographed that you can just get an idea of these traditional ones, the designers, you know, their inspiration for these different quilt designs. Some really unusual quilts in here. Lovely if you want some inspiration and some new ideas. Some really unusual patterns and different combinations of shapes and fabrics. LCSP74, that's the encyclopedia of patchwork and quilting. So, talking about quilting, let's go over and meet Joy and have a look at this quilting machine we've got this morning. So, good morning.
Hello again.
How are you this morning?
I'm all right, thank you, yes.
Bank holiday Monday.
A nice sunny day at the
It
moment
is.
as well.
I just said we had a message in from a lady in Norfolk and she said, oh, it's nice and sunny outside.
Brilliant.
So we're all good to go.
Yes, we are.
And we're joined by...
The big boy.
The big boy, the quilting machine this morning. And actually, in comparison, we always have a machine sat on our desk, you know, so regularly, well, every day we have a machine sat here. And we've got a normal sewing machine to my left here, just to sort of give you an idea of the scale and the difference in size. This is a regular sewing machine. The amazing thing about this is the size, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That space.
This is what we call the throat space, and having lots of throat space here is what we need when we're trying to quilt quilts. So
the difference in space, so looking at a regular sewing machine is sort of...
That one's about 6 inches,
okay.
So 6-7 inches on a general sewing machine. That's the Elna 340. If people have got that, they'll know what size it is. This is the Elna 730, so we've gone right up the scale a bit. And this is the main attraction.
That
on
extra
this one.
space.
Yeah, extra space. But also, we've got a foot called an AccuFeed foot, which replaces the walking foot. It works in exactly the same way, but it fits on a little bit easier and does the same trick. But I thought I'd start off with just telling you about some of the features of the machine, because it's, you know, it's not just about quilting. You want a machine to do everything.
This isn't a quick... you know, this is a thought about purchase. This is going to be something. This is an investment. This isn't something that you're going to buy on a whim, is it? You know, let's be honest.
I wouldn't have thought so. No.
I mean, it's not something that you would buy without, you know, some consideration. And you want to know the features of it. You know, why would I invest in something like this?
Why,
what does it have to offer?
If my little machine's doing what I want it to do, why do I need to move up to a bigger one?
To upgrade, really.
Absolutely. But if you are at that point of thinking, look, my machine's lovely, but I've outgrown it, I need to do more, and unfortunately it's not capable of doing it, then this is definitely worth having a look at. It's a nice solid machine, so when you're quilting it doesn't move about. No. Some of the smaller machines you end up chasing your machine around the table because it sort of takes it with it. So the first thing I want to say is it comes with a manual like this. The manual's really comprehensive, and inside it's got lots and lots of lovely clear diagrams. So it's not like one that you've got to sort of download off the internet in bits and pieces.
Which you probably don't even end up doing quite often. If I'm honest, I don't. When it says go online and register for the warranty, and I think, oh, really? You just want it there, don't you?
So it's got lots and lots of information here, lots of diagrams, so really clear. And I think that's quite important that you've got that there as a ready reference, even if you don't sit and read it cover to cover. If you think, well, I just sort of want to do something, you can have a quick look through. So I think that's a real sort of help for us.
A Bible for your quilting machine.
Absolutely. Now, the features on this machine then, I'm just going to wait for the camera to catch up with us because it's all on the front of here. I liken this to a Russian doll. You know those Russian dolls where everything fits inside?
Yes, it goes smaller.
Yeah, because this has got, and it's lovely, it's got lots of things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the little wardrobe, as I call it. So if I pull this down, inside here...
Just all hidden away neatly.
Yes. Inside here, we've got a whole heap of feet. And to access them, you just pull these forward, so then you've got really easy access into your feet. Now, normally on the littler machines, you've got them in the front here and you're scrabbling about, trying to find which one's which. But they're all in here and they just slot back in. all labelled up.
And these feet all come with the machine as well?
All come with the machine, yeah.
So you haven't got to add anything on?
No, you get all your basics in here. It's even got a little one here, which I won't get out because it's taped in, but this is a little circular pin. So if you want to do some quick circles on your stitching, you've got a little pin there that you can use it. So that's the first thing.
Wardrobe. I love that it's called a wardrobe.
A little wardrobe. Yeah, I don't know what Elna call it, but
that's what
we call it a wardrobe. Yeah, I like a wardrobe of feet. Then I can open up the top lid, and
more
inside here, I've got my chart with all my stitches on that it'll do. We've got 92 stitches, plus we've got 3 alphabets.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice feature. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of people like to put a bit of decoration, or they want to do their label, they want to stitch it out. So that's just brilliant for that. And the alphabet comes in 2 widths, a 7mm width or a 9mm width. Oh, don't touch it. That's look, see.
Getting carried away.
It's just, yeah. It's quite sensitive, the screen, you know, you used to touch it and it reacts really good. So we'll have a little play with those, hopefully, in a minute. You've got space on the top for a few more feet.
So we've got even
more in there. Even more feet in there. Now, we're talking quilting. We've mentioned the walking foot, which we use with our feed dogs engage. But, of course, some people like to do free motion quilting, where we drop the feed dogs. And this comes with a convertible free motion foot. Where do we need this to be?
Hold it here.
Yeah, you hold it there. That's probably easier, isn't it? Yeah. We don't make life too difficult for them, do we? So that is for free motion work, but it also comes with an additional 2 feet. So you've got your enclosed round foot.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, this one is your open toe foot, so it's a bit like a horseshoe shape. And then you've got a clear view one as well.
What do you use these for then?
You use them all for free motion quilting, depending on what you need to see, really. Some people don't like the complete closed one because they can't see where they're going.
The line.
Yeah, so with the open toe one, you can. And some people just prefer to have the big open one so they can see through and see everything that's going on. So a lot of it's around preference.
So it's about visually what you want to be able to see.
But you've got all 3 options with this machine, and a nice little place for it to...
And the thing as well with a price point like that is quite often, obviously, with the more affordable machines, you have to add all of these feet on.
Absolutely.
So the price obviously is lower, but you are also, you will potentially end up spending more.
Oh, you can spend £200, £300, £400 easily just by getting all the extra bits and pieces that you want. So, so for this one, I like that. For patchworkers, we've got the 1/4 inch foot.
Oh yeah, this is all the time. This is quite often here being used.
And the normal things like buttonhole foot.
A zipper.
Darning foot. We've got zipper feet. We've got... where's this gone? Yeah, so
more hidden away.
Yeah, more hidden away. See, another little drawer to open. I love it. I love it. So we've got the normal darning foot. It also comes with a range of accessories like your screwdriver, your lint brush, some bobbins. So just about everything you need to get you going.
Here it is. You can see. Look at all of those things
fabulous.
laid out.
Well done.
Everything there, all of those different feet. You've got the satin stitch foot, open toe satin stitch foot, you know, all of those different ones there.
Yeah.
The button sewing foot, the circular pin that you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. We've got needles.
You've got the bobbins and the lint brush.
Even a quick unpicker in there. So it's
everything's there ready
everything's
to go.
there for you. So, so yes, you know, if you're looking for... to upgrade to a machine and you don't want all the hassle saying, oh, but, you know, I've had to buy this, that and the other. You don't have to.
It's all there.
It's all there for you.
Now, if you don't know, what is the difference? If someone said, well, what's a quilting machine? You can still use it for regular sewing.
Absolutely.
You don't have to just use it for quilting.
No. You can use it for any kind of sewing, whatever sewing you want to do. It's just that we call it a quilting machine because we've got this space to put the quilts through. In terms of size of throat space then, we still class this as a domestic sewing machine.
Yeah.
A mid-arm sewing machine, this is when you start to go up to a 14-inch throat space, so they get even bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah. And then you've got the long-arm quilting machines, which go up to maybe 24 inches or even bigger. And they're set on a frame, so they're huge.
They're being used sort of on industrial levels, or some people have them.
They have them for their own work, but they have got the much bigger throat space. So this still comes under the heading of a domestic sewing machine.
We needed this yesterday. If you missed yesterday, Jo Carter was in. We had a huge Cave Facet quilt that we had hanging up on the wall.
Yes.
And she was saying about having to. Yeah. You have to roll the quilt, and then if you've got a regular machine, it can be quite difficult to fit that through when you start to do your free motion embroidery and things like that. Yeah. But you've got that extra space to lay it out.
Yes, yeah. And I've got a quilt here. We can pop through in a minute to have a look, see how it works. So then you've got all your normal features, things like your tension dial, your presser foot, pressure dial. We've got needle down, we've got a needle threader, we've got thread cutters on here. You can even use it on a stop-start button. So if you don't want to use your pedal, which is missing, I've just noticed, we're missing the pedal.
It's kind of important.
Well, we can use it on the stop-start button, but it's just, when you demonstrate, it's a bit easier to
have it
control your foot. I just don't want to look silly, really. Okay,
we can't have that. We'll sort you out, pedal down.
Yeah, that's fine. So we have got a start-stop button and the reverse. So all the normal features that you would expect on a machine. It's also got a speed control. It's got a little tortoise and a hare.
Yes.
Little picture.
When I go right down to this end. Let's just keep it nice and slow and controlled.
Start slow. You can always gradually build yourself up again. It's also in the top here got a little stylus.
Oh yeah, as you might use with a tablet.
So you can use that to change all your feet and everything on there as well.
And this is a computerised screen, so
it's a computerised screen, so everything's on there. You can change the length and the width of your stitches. We've got them just down here. So this is your width and this is your length. And people always get confused. But if you look, you've got a line of straight stitch in there and a line of zigzag stitch in there. So the clue is that's a straight stitching, so it's making your stitch longer. And the zigzag you want is making it wider.
So that's going to go either this way or this way, depending on which.
That's right. Okay. And then you've got all the buttons on there, which we can have a little look through and see what's there. So it's got a lot more going on than
a regular machine.
The smaller domestic ones. Yeah, definitely.
So in terms of, should we actually do something with the machine? Should we have a look?
We can have a go. We haven't finished all the cupboards yet.
There's more cupboards.
There's more.
There's more wardrobes and drawers. Okay.
So I'm going to shut that one down. So we've got another one at the back as well. So
I didn't realise that one was there. I thought we were just on the front.
No. This is why I say it's like a Russian doll. It keeps giving you more. So we've got 2 cubby holes here to pop spare bobbins and stuff in. But also, this whole thing will slide out.
This was just like we had on the embroidery machine.
Yeah, and inside you've got...
another plate.
Another stitch plate. So it's worth just having a little look at this one. And people will say, why do you want to keep changing your stitch plate? It's such a fiddle, you have to unscrew it and everything. This one doesn't. It's got a magic button right at the... See, I told you, it's lovely.
Yeah, that's
lovely. So just here, we've got a little button. And if we just press on that...
Let's just wait for that to catch up.
Shall I catch up again?
See the magic. You can't say there's a magic button and not share the magic.
God, a magician never tells,
No, that's true. But you're in the magic circle.
So we've got this button here, and you just press it down, and it releases your stitch plate. Now, I like to have the foot up, but this one's actually got a double lift.
Oh, so if you've got anything bulkier to pop underneath.
Yeah, and also I like to lift it right up for this. And then this will just literally slide out.
What's the difference then? Why would we change
I'll show you in 1 second when I've got them both out. And then this one will just get my fingers in the right place, slide back in and press down. It's that easy to change your stitch plate. So you just release it and slide it out.
So that is really sort of easy.
Yeah. So if I bring both of these over here so you can see them side by side. The main difference is that this one has got this... If I use my stylus, it might be easier. Get my fingers out of the way. You've got this sort of oval-shaped slot here.
Yes.
Now, that's where the needle goes through. And when you're doing any kind of stitches other than a straight stitch, the needle goes from side to side. Okay, so like zigzags and fancy stitches. So it needs to have that gap for the needle to work within. When you're just doing a straight stitch, which is typically what you would do with quilting, you only need a needle to go up and down. So this one has only got a very small hole, and it's got 2 positions so that you can position your straight stitch in one of 2 places. Now, what happens is sometimes when you're stitching, depending what fabrics you're using, the wadding one, it can sometimes get sort of punched down a bit as it's stitching.
Yeah.
And if you've got this long hole here, it can get trapped inside.
Because there's more room for it to
There's more
move.
room for it to go down. With the straight stitch one, that doesn't happen.
So if you're doing piecing or something like that,
Piecing
and you know you're doing straight stitches,
yeah, you can use your straight stitch plate.
it's going to stop it from being able to wriggle around if it wants to. You know, it's going to lock it right in.
And also when you're piecing, sometimes at the beginning, it's sort of, particularly if you're doing pointed triangles or something like that, it can push those points down when you start off, and again that helps to eliminate that.
So from a quilting perspective, this is about accuracy. This is going to help you with those precisions, as we did yesterday with the hugs and kisses and things like that. You want everything to be nice and crisp, and if you want to create nice points or anything like that with flying geese or anything, you know, it's giving you that precision and that accuracy.
And again, on a normal machine, you would have to buy that separate. But it comes.
It's in this.
In the whole package, and then you just turn it over, and it just lives inside there.
It's got a home.
It's got its own little home. Yeah.
Let me just show you that in there. And also the fact that you can take this off means, therefore, that you've got, you know,
you've got your free arm. So if you want to do something, maybe a bag, or if you're doing dressmaking, you want to put sleeves in and stuff, you've got your free arm there as well. So good to go.
Should we pop that one back on?
Yes.
So are there any more cubbies that I didn't know about? Are there any more wardrobes in here that you're going to surprise me with?
No, I think we found all the cupboards.
Them.
We have got a little hole at the front.
Okay.
And this is for a knee lifter. A lot of dressmakers, and that in particular, like to use a knee lifter to raise their presser foot up and down.
Yep.
So this comes with one as well. So that just slots into that little hole just there.
Fabulous. That's great. Yep. And then we've obviously got all of our, as you said, the start-stop
button, your reverse. This is a lock stitch, an immediate lock stitch. So sometimes when you're stitching and you want to stop in the middle of somewhere, you actually want to lock that stitch off.
Yeah.
So we can use that. Again, if you're quilting, traditionally we would leave the ends long, pull them through to the back, tie them off, and thread them in, but you can use the lock stitch if you want to, and then just snip your threads off.
Cut away and take it off, and off you go.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that's an immediate lock stitch. Then we've got our needle down button, and we've got our scissors to cut it off with. Okay. So nice and straightforward, nice and easy to use. So
we've got your pedal. So I think we're...
Yes, a pedal has... I told you it's a magic machine. It plugs its own pedal in. Maybe not.
Just said the little magic spell and it just appeared under the desk.
Yes, I like magic spells. So...
Magic Monday is something called
Magic Monday?
Yes.
That's good. We should have thought of that sooner, shouldn't we?
We should have a show. Amy enjoys Magic Monday.
Hey, yeah.
So what we can do, we'll do some
we could do
magic sewing.
We could
make a magician's hat. We could get rabbits coming out of it.
Now you're getting carried away.
Yeah, well, you know, it's important to be creative.
Well, Halloween is coming up soon.
Oh yes, we could do a spooky. I wonder if we'll do a spooky show.
I'm sure we will. Okay, so that's all very well, but we actually need to see this stitching out.
We do.
People want to see it stitching, don't they? So if we can come on to the front of the machine, because I'm going to show how we change between our stitches and stuff like that.
There we go.
So on here, throw that away. We've got some quick access buttons, 1 through to 9 here. So these are the most commonly used stitches. So we've got our straight stitches, we've got zigzags here, and we've got our buttonholes and things. So if you're using those stitches all the time, you can just go straight into these. So to change to a zigzag, I literally just tap on there, and it shows you on the screen what stitch it's changed it to, because it's quite easy to, oh, hang on, I didn't really mean that one, I meant that one.
Yeah.
You know, so if you do that, it's really easy to see. So we're just going to start off with number 1, first of all, which is our straight stitch.
These are our most common stitches that we've got.
Absolutely. So I'm going to use the straight stitch, and then halfway along, I'm going to want to stop and do a lock-in stitch,
which is on here.
Which is going to press here. So all I'm going to do is start stitching, and then when I've got far enough, I'm just going to press that button, keep my foot on the pedal. That's the important thing. You have to hold the faith. Because if you take your foot off the pedal, that's giving the machine a different instruction. And it won't complete the lock stitch.
So you have to keep it as if it's still working.
So you just keep your foot, keep your foot down all the time. It will slow down, do the lock stitch, and it will stop all by itself.
Okay. So you don't have to...
And people are like, I want to take my foot off. No, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So now that's done the lock stitch. If I want to, if I've done that, well, actually, I didn't really want to stop there. If you just put your foot back on the pedal, it'll carry on stitching again until you get to the end. Then we can press our scissor button. It cuts it.
I love that feature.
Yeah.
I know it's such a small thing, but it just feels quite techy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, I'm not sure if you'll pick this up, but just in the centre here where I did that lock stitch, then you can see there's just like a tiny little sort of dot, a bit thicker.
It's not too bulky though, is it?
No, it's nice. It's nice and unintrusive. But that's what your lock stitch does. And I know people that do dressmaking sometimes like to lock off at the beginning and end of seams. And as I say, sometimes in quilting we might want to do that as well. So that's quite a nice, neat little feature. So. I thought then we would do one of the fancy stitches, which is on the thing here. I've got my little notes here. So, to change them...
so, how many were there? 92? 92 stitches.
There's 92 stitches, but they're sort of grouped together in little bundles, OK? And at the top here, we've got mode 1, mode 2 and mode 3, OK? Then we've got mode 4, 5 and 6 for our alphabets. So to select one of the stitches over here, we need to be in the right mode.
Right, I can spy a mode button.
There is a mode button. The reason for that is mode 2 starts at 1 and goes to 30. Mode 3 starts at 1.
So you need to be on the right mode.
Absolutely, which is why this feature that you can see the stitch that you've selected, if you think, oh, I want number 30, and you program it in, and, oh, that doesn't look right, it's a clue you're in the wrong mode.
So you might have picked the one from mode 2 instead of mode 3.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got the mode button here, so if I just tap that, we've got numbers down the side of the screen here, and every time I tap that, it takes you down a mode, 4, 5, 6, and then it will go back to mode 1. Okay, so I'm going to go down to mode 3.
So we're in this main section.
In the main section
designs here, which is well, you've got the most designs actually, haven't you, from 1 to 92.
So, and I'm going to just choose number 24 because I like that stitch. So you can use your fingers if you don't want to use a stylus. Okay, just do it. I'm just being polite today. I'm normally dabbing all over the place. So I've chosen number 24, which is this fancy stitch here. That's all I need to do. It automatically sets the width and the length to the right stitch size for me, and then foot on the pedal and it will stitch it out. And all I've got to do is just make sure the fabric's feeding through reasonably straightly. I don't need to be...
That's a nice decorative stitch, isn't it?
Yeah, I like this. This is one of my favourites. And again, when I stop, if I want to do an immediate tie off, I can press that and it will work exactly the same way. Or if I've got to the end and I just want to cut off, I can do that as well. So
producer Paul says it's like a heart monitor.
Yes.
Isn't it?
It's like our heart monitors this morning. A bit spikier than that, I think. Trying to get things sorted.
In the right place.
But yes, but hopefully it's calmed down for him now.
It's chilled then.
He's chilled now. That's good. That's good. Okay. So and that works with whichever fancy stitch that you want to do. So and it brings it up.
Can we look at 64?
Can we look at 64? There you go.
I like the look of that one.
You like the look of that one. So what are we doing with this one? Right, this is one of the satin stitch ones.
Okay.
Okay. So this is going to put a lot of stitches close together. So again, I've just chosen it. And we'll stitch it out. Now, on this one here, if I, in the middle of a pattern, if I press that lock stitch, it will just carry on to the end of that pattern repeat.
Oh, that's really intuitive. So it's not going to put you a lock stitch in the middle of it.
No, what it will do, it will just stop once it gets to the end of that pattern repeat.
And it will lock it in there.
Yeah. So if I'm not sure if I can get you know, 2 or 3 pattern repeats in on my row that I'm doing, and I think, oh, it's getting a bit close, I can just stop here, and then I say, oh, actually, I've got room to do another one, so I can start it off again, press that button again, and it will just, and again, I'm keeping my foot on the pedal, I'm not taking my foot off the pedal at all, and then it will stop when it gets to the end. Now, there's another cool feature on this one.
Okay.
I told you, it keeps giving, this machine. We've got this button down here with an E by it. Now, that's an elongation button.
Oh, so you can stretch it out.
You can stretch your stitches out, OK? And if you press that, it comes up with L1, and then L2, 3, 4 and 5. So you've got 5 stages of elongation, depending
on what you want,
how long you want it to be. So if we just go for L3 in the middle, and I'm going to exactly the same stitch again, but then we can see.
Then we can see the difference.
See the difference.
So could you use that for the modes 4, 5, and 6 for your fonts if you wanted to make those?
No,
you
no.
The elongation for that, you would use a different scale.
You can use it, but it just distorts them so they don't look like
letters.
Like letters.
So this is for all of your decorative stitches.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to press my button so it only does it once, and then we'll see the difference.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
See it coming out. Okay.
We should look at this on the quilt as well, actually. We can see that. Yeah. Oh, look, it's totally. So it completely stretches that stitch into a different. Yeah. It's elongated. It's exactly what it says on the machine. That's a really lovely stitch.
And any of your sort of satin stitches, so from sort of 58 right the way through to 66, are really good for doing that effect. But when you get this machine, what you do is you go and you play with it. You know, and
do you know, that's so funny. Jane said the exact same thing this morning about the embroidery machine. She said, get some tea towels and just some cheap tea towels and have a play. Just, you know, get it out and just try it. And you need to familiarise yourself with everything that's there.
And find out what it does. I always get myself something like this and do lots of lines of stitching to try out all the different stitches that are on there. Sometimes they look a bit different to the way they look on there.
When it's been replicated, you know, over and over again, it does look different to just the one
and
stitch.
It looks really, they can look really nice. So that's really good. The alphabet then.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the alphabet.
Can we do that on the quilt at all, or do we need to do that for just quilting lines? You don't want to,
when you're doing things like alphabets and stuff like that, they can, because there's a lot of stitches that it compresses it too much, you can get like a hard lump in your quilt. Okay. So I would do it on a quilt label, which I then stitched onto the quilt, but I wouldn't do it
where you've got
through the layers. No, not normally. And I normally use a stabiliser. I'm sure Jane was talking about stabilisers.
Yes, we had them this morning. They're nearly sold out.
Yeah, there you go. I won't mention them again. But yes, that would be good. So to select our alphabet then, we need to go into mode 4. So I'm down to mode 4, and I'm going to choose number 20 because that's the J for my name.
OK.
For no other reason than anything else. So you select the J, and then all you've got to do again is put your foot down. Now, if you want a row of J's, you just let it go on. Otherwise, you press your button, and at the end of the J, it will stop. Now, I'm going to cut that one off and show you 2 things with that. OK, so this is the size of, if I do it that way, of the letter J. Obviously, we need to just trim these. And because it starts and stops, like with a lock-in stitch, it's fine to trim it off. Now, when you use the cutter at the end, can you see it's put this little stitch afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't want that little stitch, you've either got to pick it out and cut it off, or don't use your cutter, just take it out.
As you regularly would and cut it yourself.
Yeah, and cut it yourself. OK. So,
on something very small like that, that's where you notice those little stitches that
absolutely.
You don't need.
So I'm going to take it back in. So that's the letter J on mode 4. Now, mode 4 will do up to a 7mm swing stitch size.
All right.
But this machine's capable of 9mm.
Oh, so we could make it.
So we can go bigger. So if we go over to mode 6, and I'll choose the same one again, and I'll stitch that one out, and then we can compare the difference.
Yeah, you can see here just in terms of scale.
Yeah. So I won't use a cutter this time, I'll just pop it out. And if I trim those off, you can see straight away it's coming out much. I'm trying that
When you're doing letters like that, if you were going to say write your name and then you were going to do the O next to it, would you just leave the fabric where it was and then select the O and then run that one through? You wouldn't take it out in between?
No.
To keep it nice and straight?
No, but this machine's got a memory function as well. Oh. So we can actually set up the whole name in one go.
Oh, right,
and it'll
just leave it and just do it,
yeah.
and it will do it.
Yeah, so the way that happens is I've got my letter J already selected there, and on the front here we've got another button that says Mem, which is short for memory. So letter J, press M, so that's now saved that. Yeah. Then I can look for the O, which is 25.
And 36? No, 36.
30,
I can't see if
35,
the full stop's
yeah.
got a different number to it.
35, okay.
Yeah.
And memory. So then that now remembers that sequence, and when you go in, you'll stitch it out in
one go.
In just exactly the
same way. Because I was
way.
thinking in my head, how do you make that perfectly?
Yeah.
If you're doing a little label or something small and fiddly, you want it to be.
Yeah, and you can do, I forget how many characters it does up to now. Jane will probably be able to answer that in the next show. but you can, you can write like a short sentence, 2 or 3 words, and join them up. And you can also program in a lock stitch. Rather than relying on yourself to press the button, if we go back to mode 3, number 92 is actually a lock-in stitch. So if I go in now, back to mode 3 and select 92.
Also, you can do memory across the modes. You can
absolutely.
So you could do that, and then you could say that you wanted, I don't know,
you could add patterns in and
or something like that. You could pop it on the end of that memory, and then you just. Then it will do that in one go. Yeah.
What it does, though, if you choose, say, a flower, if I delete that, let's a flower or a star. So let's go for 35. Okay. So it's put this star shape in. It's important to realize it only does one star, just one repeat of that pattern.
Yeah. It's not going to be a row. It's
not going to be a row of them. No. Unfortunately, to get rid of it, you've got a little dusty bin here, so you can just keep pressing that, and that will get rid of all that. Or if you go out of it and you go in, don't want to go into mode 1, and go back out of it, it loses it. So it hasn't got a long-term memory.
No.
So once you've got it set up, you've got to stitch it out.
There and then. So you set it up with the memory to do something that you're going to do now.
Yeah, it's like a sequence memory rather than, as I say,
a programmed in long-term sort of memory.
So lots of little bits that we can do on there.
Absolutely, and it obviously is a quilting machine, so maybe we should see it with a quilt, so we can sort of see. This is if you've just tuned in this morning, this quilting machine, the lovely thing about it, and the main, feature and the reason that people upgrade to a machine like this is to do with the throat space. So you've got that room. If you're working with it, a big quilt like the cave one yesterday. Yes. DEJE43 is your item number for this. 1699. But you've got loads of different feet, all hidden away in those wardrobes and in the top sections. Really, a really sort of powerful machine. All of those accessories you can see on that bottom photo, they're all included in that price. So you're not having to add things on, you're not having to add on a different plate or additional feet. Everything is included in that price.
OK, so
a quilt.
We have a quilt.
Yes.
Made out of our fabric bundle, one of our fabric bundles anyway. So before you can quilt, you need to get all your layers together and get. It's not plain,
quilt sandwich.
A quilt sandwich, yes. Okay. Various ways you can get your layers together. Traditionally, you would do your basting stitches, which is like a running stitch, no more than about 1 inch long to hold it together. Or we can use these curved safety pins, which we've got here to do it as well. So, and that's what I've used today. Now, when you're using the curved safety pins, the important thing is that you put them where you're not going to be quilting, if you possibly can, because otherwise you're having to do a bit and keep taking them out as you go along.
But the good thing about these pins is that because they're curved, if you've not seen them before, obviously regular safety pins are actually far too difficult to use to attach, to put fabric together. But with these, because of the curve, they just lend themselves to being put into the fabric. And obviously in this box here you've got I think it's 150 pins in here, so there's plenty if you want to use those instead of a basting spray or a racing
That's
stitch.
right, yeah. OK, so we've got our thing together. We need to think about where we're going to quilt. And obviously I'm thinking my pins are in here because this has got some folds on it. I don't want to be quilting over that because that defeats the object. Defeats the object. So we're just going to do some stitching in these channels here. But before I actually do that, I'm going to use a straight stitch. I know that, and I know I'm going to follow these shapes around. But I need to think about the size of the stitch that I'm using. So I've got a little sample here, and I would normally do this on the exact sort of wadding that I'm using.
So you can test
so you can
exactly
see what's
how
going
it
on.
looks
Yeah.
on the wadding.
So we've got from 2.4 right up to a 5 stitch length on here, so that you can see that the very tiny one pulls it in really tightly.
So pinches it a little bit more.
Pinches it in. This one, it's a bit big. The stitches are a bit loose. And it's nothing to do with tension, it's just the size of the stitch. For me, I know most of the time I'm going to be doing somewhere around about 3.5 or 4 stitch length.
That's your sort of...
That's sort of my ballpark, that's sort of in the middle. And then I can just adjust it a little way. It's a shame that these things don't translate on the television.
It's
but
hard
do
for you
it
to
for
see
yourself.
that there is a real difference if you take a piece of fabric and some wadding and just to see your differences. And this is something you could keep, you know, in the drawer next to the sewing machine and use that as a reference guide. But there is a real difference just in the stitch size. You can see there the length.
Yeah, and these are really pulling out. So it's worth doing that to do. So on this one, I'm going to change my stitch length. The default setting is 2.4. So I'm going to just press the plus sign and I'm going to go up to a 4. We'll see what happens with that. OK. Now, we're going to give this a go. Now, people talk about rolling the quilt up so it fits under their small throat space.
In the regular machine in here.
I personally don't like to do that because it makes this very rigid and quite difficult to manoeuvre.
Yeah.
So I go for bunching. So I'm going to pop this in here. And I've got my double lift up, so I've got plenty of room for it to go underneath. And I'm going to use the edge of my foot as a guide. Okay.
So like you might with a quarter of an inch, so you can use that as...
So I'm going to use it to track all the way along this shape here. And then I'm going to turn it and come back. And I know the first thing people are going to say is, well, how do you know where to turn? But if you look, we've got a seam line here. We've got this reference point here. You could mark it, but we don't need to. We've got a seam line, which will give us our reference point. So when I stitch up to here, when my needle hits that seam, that's the pivot point.
That's where you turn.
To turn round again. OK. So I haven't rolled this. I've just got it through. The main problem with quilting isn't actually the size, it's the weight. Because the weight will pull it and it will drag it in all different directions. And it could distort it, really, or absolutely.
where your finished stitches end up, because it's dragged it away from
absolutely. So get it nice and loose so it can move freely. I'm not going to have any of this hanging down here. Normally, if I was sitting down and this was a bigger quilt, it'd be on my lap, you know, so it's all there.
Or on another chair, you could have next to your machine to support, if it's a really big quilt, just to keep it lifted and elevated.
And obviously, as you get into the quilt, it's going to go all over the place anyway. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is quilting from the middle, because people think that the middle, you have to start literally in the middle of your quilt. If I just do it on here, they think that the middle of the quilt is here, so they've got to quilt like this, outwards, OK? But actually, the middle could be straight across. That could be your middle line, and then you work outwards and outwards.
So as long as you take the centre in some way, whether it's, you know, this from this central point,
whether you're going in a radial way or lengthwise, or you could even go diagonally and work out. The key thing is... If
you're going diagonally, where would you start?
In the corner.
In the corner. You would do that, literally. Even though it's not going to be central, obviously.
Yeah, if it's If it's a square quilt, then it's going to go corner to corner.
Yeah.
If it's rectangular, it will sort of hit slightly off-centre, but that's okay. The key thing is that you're working towards the outside of the quilt, so that if you do come across any ruckles or anything like that, you're easing them out towards the edges and not trapping them in.
In the middle.
Yeah.
So that's your reason for working centrally outwards.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to end up with anything that's all bunched in the middle.
Hopefully not.
No.
Hopefully not. So I've just taken a middle sort of line on here to start my quilt. I've lost my pedal. There it is. See,
it's that magic spell.
It's that
See,
magic spell, yeah.
There, just got rid of it and then I
and then you put it there. You're scary.
Yeah, it's a magic trick.
Okay, so...
this is my magic pen.
Is that right? Better take it off you quick. Now, the only bit you're in control of is the bit that's in between your hands.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're not going... Yeah, obviously everything else is...
So people think, oh, I'm just going to sew this quilting line straight the way down. You can't actually do that because you've got no control of what's going on here. You're only in control at this part here. So we're going to just track this round. Now, it's on a slight curve, so I'm going to do a few stitches and I'm just going to lift that up and just ease it round. And I'm going to need to do that probably every few stitches whenever I get to a curve. Now, the other thing I'm struggling with here is I haven't got quilting gloves on.
Yes.
And I would normally always have quilting gloves on because my hands, my skin's very dry, so it doesn't grab.
It doesn't slide.
Doesn't grab the fabric.
No.
So for me, I use quilting gloves. But that's okay. So this, again, it's all just bunched up here. It's going to go around here. And then, hopefully, I'm going to hit that seam any minute now.
And that's where you said, you know, to pivot. You use that as your guide.
So now I can pivot this round and line that back up again. And again, just make sure it's not catching on here anywhere. Now, if you've got a gentle curve, you can curve it, you know, as you go. But if you've got more than a very gentle curve, if you try and do this as you're stitching, it just distorts it, and it goes out of shape.
You can see why if you were working with a really big, you know, like maybe a king size quilt. If you've got very limited space there, that it must be so tricky to manoeuvre the fabric,
Absolutely.
And especially curves. If you're doing a lot of pivoting and moving and turning.
Yes.
Obviously, a straight is probably slightly easier because if you roll it up. But if you're following a design like this, quite tricky.
Even a quilt this size on a small machine like that one, that's quite challenging.
Yeah.
But obviously with this one, we've got a lot more room to manoeuvre. We can pivot it around, and you can see there now we've got the quilting stitches.
So you're just following the shape of the
I'm just following the shape there, yeah.
This fabric bundle as well this morning, so we have got two different options. This one is butterflies teamed with the purple, the fuchsia and the pumpkin orange. And that's on the bottom of your screens at the moment. Butterflies and Bright, WEGC 88. And that's for all four of these fabrics. You get ½ metre of each of those.
So as soon as I feel I want to do that, I'm stopping and just adjusting it. And it's only a small adjustment, but it makes, you know, a big difference. And when we're coming down into this, sort of what I'm calling the valley, again, we've got a seam there that I can use as my marker to stop my stitches and to pivot
and to know where your central point is to turn and to move.
Yeah, absolutely. People get very hung up about marking and, you know, drawing things on and then trying to stitch on the lines. I actually think it's more difficult to stitch on the lines. It might be quite
limiting actually to feel if you're going that rigidly, because you then as well it's like, oh, I've gone out off the lines. It's like being a child with colouring in. I didn't quite follow the lines. Yes.
So this is one that I'd basted, ready to go. And on this one, I have drawn some cross-hatching lines because it's a plain expanse of fabric. You've got no reference points to work to. So I've just used a little chalk pencil to do those. And then, because it's straight lines, you just keep that chalk line right in the centre of your quilting foot.
Yeah.
Don't watch the needle, just watch the front of the foot. And then that'll give you the, you know,
So it really depends as well on what blocks you're using, the fabric to start with, because you could obviously use the fabric to lead what sort of quilting you're doing and the sort of shape. But if you're going for a solid or something a bit plainer or maybe a spot on, and you haven't got lines to use as a reference guide, then you can use a marker of some sort.
Absolutely.
And lines have a place.
There's also a neat little trick on this foot, but I need to get to the end of this line of stitching and show you on there.
Okay, that's all right, we can get to that.
I'll do that.
Shall we have a quick look at the fabric?
Yeah, I'll just finish sewing this line. I don't want to stop it in the middle.
Okay, I'll have a look at these two fabric bundles and I'll pop back in a second.
Great.
So we've got two different colourways. I mentioned the butterflies that Joy's working with at the moment, and this is a 2 metre bundle, so you get half a metre of each of these fabrics. You've got a solid mauve there on the bottom. So this has been combined to create that quilt that is going through the quilting machine at the moment. Then you've got a solid fuchsia. You've got the butterflies there that you can see that's almost like look like they've been painted on. They've got a really lovely effect on those butterflies. And the pumpkin orange as well, that spectrum solid. £17.45. And then the other option, this one here has been teamed with a charcoal, your pearl blue, and then you've also got a really soft yellow here at the bottom. It makes a really big difference, actually, to sort of the mood of the fabric, and rather than the bright with your pastels. And I'm just going to open the butterflies so you can see a little bit more some of that design. What I meant about the, where it looks like it's almost got like a mottled or a marbled effect you can just see on those butterflies, where it looks like it's been painted. OOGC 59 is the pastel bundle, so there are two options there for that. Which one's most popular at the moment? Oh, it's the encyclopedia that's most popular, more than the fabric, so let's have a look at that. So, this encyclopedia here, it's an encyclopedia of quilting and patchwork, a really comprehensive guide. It's a really thick book with loads and loads of photographs, photographies, figure references, but talking you through at the beginning, as you know, a lot of these sort of books do, talking you through your technique, working things out, how to assemble blocks, how to use templates. And then all of your different blocks, a lovely way to sort of get some inspiration for new ideas and how to put those together. So you've got 4 patch blocks, and then you've also got 5, you've got 9, 54, lots of them that, you know, lots with different piecing and different options for your different block formations. But also as we go through the book, you can see step-by-step instructions there. But then, you know, looking at some of these more complicated blocks, perhaps if you're an experienced quilter and you want some, you know, some different techniques for different patchworks, lots of inspiration in here. You've also got some applique info. A really thorough book, finishing and quilting. Lovely. LCSP 74. I think, Joy, are we good to go? Shall we have a look? Let's have a look back at this quilt then. So we finished that row of,
yep.
Where is it? This side. Here it is.
There you go.
You can just see where we've mirrored that. Should I say we? Joy did all the work.
You watched.
Yeah, I just stood and watched. You can just see where we've mirrored, Joy has mirrored the shape there of the actual quilt itself.
Yeah. And then I would do the same down this side as well. It
really, I tell you what, that's where you can really see the difference that quilting makes, as opposed to if that was just plain, in terms of giving it a depth and a different feel, and it really adds another dimension, doesn't it? You can see why people do it. Yeah. And you wanted to demonstrate on here.
I'm just going to show you something, yes, because we've got another little magic bit of metal.
Here. What's this? Not something you see at the dentist.
Not something you see at the dentist. But I want to show you something on the screen as well. When we've got our normal stitch plate on and we select our straight stitch number 1, we just get a number 1 showing here. As soon as I put the straight stitch place in, it changes to 1S.
So it knew?
It knows it's got the straight stitch plate on. And the good news about that is it means if I forget I've got that on, it won't let you. It won't let me choose any of the decorative stitches.
That's so clever. So it means that you're not going to damage the needle, you're not going to break the
needles
needle,
or do anything
you're not
like
going to damage the plate, because it knows that that's the straight stitch one with those two. That's the 2 circles, isn't it? As opposed to the longer channel in the plate.
Yeah. So the other thing we've got here then is this this funny shaped
implement.
Yeah. People look at that and think, oh, I'll just throw that away.
Yeah,
no, don't throw it away.
I'm not sure what you use it for.
Okay, so this one, if we were stitching down here and we'd stitch one of these lines, but we didn't want to draw all over, we wanted a guide. What you can do with this is there's a little, I don't know if we're about to pick this up on the camera, but there's a little hole just there.
Yeah.
And that just pushes in.
Yes.
Got it?
Okay.
And then what happens is you set that guide up on the line of stitching that you've just done.
Ah, and then you can just follow that.
Yeah, but you don't look here, you look here.
Yeah, that's the point.
Sounds silly to say, but yeah, it does. So by stitching with that bar on your line of stitching or on a line that you've drawn, you can get your parallel lines without...
So on a really big quilt, you could just draw the first inch or two, and then you could just follow that all the way along.
No, you need to have a complete
you
line
of
stitches.
No, not the stitches, sorry, I meant the drawn on line.
Yeah, you could draw one line.
Yeah, and then follow that.
Stitch on it, and then follow it, yeah.
How clever is that? That's almost like with rollers that you pop the pin through the centre. That's what that reminds me of.
And obviously it will curve, you can put it in or out. There's obviously a limit to how far out you could go, which is, I don't know, probably 2.5, maybe 3 inches. But you can also bring it in quite narrow as well.
You can use that.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's really worthwhile.
Should we just quickly show how you use that then?
We could do, yeah.
Just do a row.
If I just...
for time, I'm saying that, yeah, we've got a couple of
time.
minutes. About 2 minutes.
So I just want to get that out of the way. So I'm going to pretend that line's already stitched. I've lined it up. This table is walking.
See, it's
It is walking
I'm telling
today.
you, Joy.
There's something going on. So all I'm doing is I'm just looking at this bar to keep that on the line, which is a bit strange because you're used to looking at your foot to see where your foot is.
You've got to shift your eye line to somewhere else.
So you've got to look at that and forget what's going on and just trust that it's sewing where you want it to sew. Machines are quite clever. They will do what you ask them to. So if you ask them to do the right things, they will do it.
It's actually about the instructor as opposed to what's...
Absolutely. Yeah. So now you can see we've got that nice channel.
You didn't have to draw that. No. You could just follow that other one as a guide.
Yeah. And then we can do exactly the same again, but keeping it on the line of stitching.
That one, and then you go along.
Yeah.
So once you've got that top line...
Once you've got that first line or one line to follow, then you just keep following along.
All the way across the quilt.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about this machine, if I had to put you on the spot?
I like the stability of it, that it doesn't move. It's really, really nice and solid, and obviously the throat space.
That's for you. That's
really got to be. Yeah.
That's your star thing about the.
Yeah,
about
I like lots of things about it. I like lots of the features and stuff, and I like the fact it's got all the crucial bits there. Your 1/4 of an inch. It's got your scissor cutter, your needle thread. It's got all those bits there, and the fact that you've got the straight stitch plate already with it, I think is a big bonus, because people often won't buy them because they can be quite pricey on their own. So I think having it all there as one package.
Although it looks like a scary number.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, you're not going to be spending for a while. You're not going to be buying feet
and you're not
going
to outgrow this in a hurry. It's going to last you for a long, long time.
Thank you so much. We've learned
You're welcome.
I've learned a lot about that machine this morning.
Good.
So this one here, DEJE43. If you do like this, you've got all of your instructions, loads of different accessories that come with the machine, all of obviously the feet that we spoke about, the different plates, and only $2.95 postage. So regardless of how big the machine is, that's a nice little perk there. But Jayne is back just after the break in 3 minutes. We've got some other sewing machines to show you, so don't go anywhere.
Join us on Facebook. Simply search for The Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the herringbone stitch. This is a stitch that's used for holding 2 layers of fabric together, and its construction makes it ideal for things like stretch fabrics because the stitches will move with the cloth. It's also a really nice decorative stitch. So I'm going to start with my needle and thread. Now I'm actually using embroidery thread so you can see what I'm doing, and I've also put a knot in the end. So starting from the wrong side of the fabric, we're going to go through to the top. And we're actually going to be working from left to right, but you can also work right to left, whatever's comfortable for you. And we're going to start with a diagonal stitch going up. So that's our first stitch. Now you're going to come back on yourself and to the left of that stitch, but this time we're going to come down. You want to try and keep this as even as possible, so you can see that we've created our first cross. Now again, going from the left to the right, we're going to create our stitch. So you can see we've got a cross there and a cross there. So there we have our herringbone stitch.
Sewing Quarter had a ball at the Festival of Quilts. Most importantly, we loved meeting all of you at the Sewing Quarter Cafe. Thanks to everyone who popped by to meet us, including those who joined us for a spot of English paper piecing, all for the great cause Project Linus. John Scott was even joined by Mandy Shaw on Sunday, and they laughed their way through a demonstration from Mandy's red and white Christmas book. If you didn't have a chance to drop by our stand or couldn't make it to the NEC, then we have a treat for you. We've filmed Mandy Shaw's live demonstration at Festival of Quilts, and you can watch the full video over on our website at www.sewingquarter.com. Simply click on the banner at the top of the page, sit back with a cuppa, and watch Mandy and John.
Good morning, welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely bank holiday Monday. I'm joined again by Jayne Brogan in this hour, and we're doing an Elna Masterclass. So you might have already seen this morning, we've had an embroidery machine, which works like magic. You step away, it does all the work for you. We've had a quilting machine, and now in this hour, we've got 3 different sewing machine options for you. And also we've got some brand new accessories that we've never had on the show before. So we've got a premiere of some new feet and some new other accessories that you can pop onto your machine to stitch circles and ruffles, and we'll show you those in just a minute with Jayne. Now, first of all, I want to start by showing you the fabric bundles that we've got in this hour. So I'll move these threads to the side. Now, all of these bundles are 1.5 metre bundles, so you've got 3 half-metre cuts. I'm going to start with this lovely one here that I've actually got a top that one of our designers made in this fabric. I really love this colour. Gorgeous orchid colour you've got here. 1/2 metre of this. Let me move this so you can see. Then you've got 1/2 metre of teal. And 1/2 metre of damson. So there you've got 3 solids in there. That's the purple fabric bundle. Then we have got this one here where you've got some duck egg blues but teamed with a really dusty purple, a pink, sorry. So this is, again, is that linear look fabric with that cross hatching. But you can see there that definitely is a dusty pink, but a nice sheen to that linear look. This is tea rose, so that's a vintagey colour fabric. Then you've got spot on teal and teal itself in the solid. And it's the teal bundle, JXGC99, £12.95 for that. Then next up, you've got this one here where you've got a nice mushrooms colour solid to start with. This is red and mocha, this bundle. So you've got that solid on the bottom. Then you've got a spot on. I can't remember if this is stone or sand, or maybe it's... I think we had a giraffe made out of this yesterday. And then you've got your cross hatching on your red there, that Christmas red. So 3 different fabrics, again, 1.5 meters, half a metre of each of those. Oh, they're having a trouble loading the graphics for that one, but we'll get that one up on your screens and I'll recap that in a second. And then we've got papaya and aqua. I like the sound of that. This one here is a lovely coral. Actually, I think, yeah, this one is my favourite. So you've got coral spot on here with that cream spot, teamed with an aqua spot on. A really lovely fresh colourway. And then you've got a solid cream on the bottom. Oh, I love that papaya. I think that's really bright and fresh. QDGC22, £12.95. Finally, just while I'm over here, I'm going to run through a couple of metal thread options that we've got in this hour. Then we'll go over and have a look at our machines. So we've got 4 different options. I'm going to start with our Christmas collection, which I know you're thinking, oh, not again, but we are festive. If you're going festive, you've got some metallic threads in here. So you can see all of those different colours. Obviously, your classic reds and greens, but you've got a silver and gold metallic there too. And some regular with the sheen. You've got your navy and your cream. And just hiding there is a darker brown. I'm just going to check the composition of these threads, if they're 100% polyester. So the metallic set there, the poly sheen, is a polyester set. QWEQ53. Then your next one here is your blue. So this is your winter collection. We're going for that icy sort of feel with your greys, whites, navies, blues. You can see again, you've got 8 threads in there. Again, let's check. These are 100% cotton in this collection, so perfect for quilting. Obviously, if you're working with 100% cotton fabrics and you want to carry that through in your thread, then the metal lend themselves to that. So these are great for piecing, for putting, you know, for putting things together for the construction of quilts. This one here is a spring collection, so we're going for our different seasons. It's a nice pastel-y bundle, but sort of some bright oranges and pinks and purples in there too. Again, these are 100% cotton. The metal threads have a really high-quality cotton. Lovely, you know, if you're investing in a quilt and spending a lot of time in something that's going to be an heirloom piece and that you want to stand the test of time, you obviously want cottons that are going to do that too and to mirror that feel, and these metal cottons do exactly that. Finally, our summer collection. Really bold, vivid colours there. £12.95. So you've got 4 different fabric bundles, 4 different thread options, but we've promised you some brand new things. So let's go and have a look at these brand new launches we've got this morning for some sewing accessories, or sewing machine accessories. So, Jayne, we're back.
We're back again.
And we've got accessories and brand new things this morning.
We've brought something different for you today to try. Just 3 different accessories that we've got the 540 here, so we'll be using them on these as well, but they will go on the 340 as well.
So these go across the 2 machines,
they
the
do,
Elna
yes.
340 and the Elna 540. So if that's a machine you've got, I imagine ears might be pricking up at what these might be this morning. And tell me, what are these different
We've
things?
got the walking foot, which is invaluable for people who quilt. They tend to sort of, they're for quilting, but I use them putting on curtain heading tape and things like that. It stops the layers of fabric creeping. So even if you were dressmaking, you're doing like a heavy coat or something, again, use your walking foot because it stops those layers creeping. And you don't end up with an inch longer on the top than the bottom when you get to the other end, which is always a good thing.
A walking foot is all about pulling the top and bottom, if you've got layers of fabric, so particularly with quilting, if you've got wadding and things, about pulling it through at the same
evenly. So some people call it, well, it's classed on here as an even feed foot or a walking foot, it's known as. So it's feeding all the fabrics through together. When we put it on the machine and have a look, you'll see how it works. I've got mine here out of the box, and it's these little teeth here. Can we see those? Can you just see them? They work in conjunction with the feed on the machine. So as you'll see as it's sewing, we'll slow the machine right down, and you can see how it's feeding all the layers through together, so it's not pressing and slipping.
They actually come together almost like a crocodile jaw, don't they? Those bottom feeds and that top one, and that's as it comes together is just helping to pull it through. It's just helping to
take it through at the same speed. Nice and evenly.
Yep. So your walking foot, if you've got the 340 or the 540, this walking foot will fit perfectly onto there. TNJE 62, that was it. I looked down and I hadn't finished reading the code, that was a bit foolish. £49.95. Or the even feed foot, so all about just feeding that fabric through, stopping you having, you know, as you said, when you get to the end, the frustration of, oh, that's not married up at all, and you've ended up with bits hanging over.
And again, curtain heading tape, I've done it before, and you get little pleats in it, because there's so many layers that you're trying to take through at the same time. It's just pushing that top layer, it's not feeding it because there's so
At
much
different
underneath the
speeds.
foot.
So you end up with a nice, precise finish on both ends. So what you started is what you end with.
Hopefully, yes. Again, I will say these will all come packaged as you know, because I've said before we are part of the same umbrella, so they are the correct ones for your machine.
So that even so that's actually worth noting. If it is an Elna machine, Elna is part of the Janome sort of group, so even though it's branded like that, it will fit onto your machine.
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay.
Now we've got two other things here.
We start with the circular attachment, which is this one. Again, I've got mine here, which is out of the packet, so it looks like that.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It does perfect circles for you. I've got a couple of bits here somewhere, so we've got those. I've got a couple of bits here. So
for a lot of people, circles are scary.
Circles, we used to use upside-down drawing pins and masking tape many years ago, and they're not that brilliant because they do tend to veer offside. This one is brilliant because you can use any foot and any stitch on the machine.
So you can use this with your regular foot?
Yeah, you can use it with your walking foot, your satin stitch foot, so you're not tied to just using it with one particular foot or one or two stitches. You can see on here all your decoratives.
Oh, wow.
So you can use all your decorative stitches.
How does it do that? What does it actually...
I will show you.
You're going to show me. I need to be patient. I'm too impatient.
Yeah, and we'll show you how it all works in a minute. And again, some more circles. It's another one.
Like the Olympic rings. One too many. But really perfect circles.
Yes, they are.
And for curves, for some people, just almost a no-go.
Yeah,
they just think,
I think with that one, it just adds a new dimension to it, to your stitching, because, say, you can pull all your decorative stitches off the machine. You're not tied. With a walking foot, you tend to use a straight stitch or a zigzag, whereas with this attachment, you can use any stitch on the machine.
Could you quilt with this?
Yes, I don't see why not. If you wanted to, pop the walking foot on. It's nice for doing applique, so you can applique, trim it back and then go over it again in exactly the same place with a satin stitch. So there's different things
decorative from and this as well.
That's a little project that was made with it. So again, that's just showing the circular stitcher and what you can do with it.
Lovely detail. It makes it very ornate, doesn't it?
It is, and again, that's applique. So that would have been... I'd like to say I made this, but I didn't. And again, applique the circle on with a straight stitch, trim it back, and then just go over it with the satin stitch again.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing that one in action in a moment. We've got one other brand new thing we want to show you just first of all. So we'll move this one to the side. What do we call this?
It's a circular attachment.
A circular attachment. Yeah. I think the order of today, if you've been watching all morning, is that we're keeping things straightforward.
We are this morning.
Does circles, it's a circular attachment. If it's a bundle of pink fabric, it's called the pink bundle. Nice and straightforward this morning.
And the other one we've got this morning for you is the ruffler.
So we're ruffling.
We're ruffling. And again, I'll get mine out of its little box here.
Producer Paul just said every day I'm ruffling. You know, it's like, every day I'm ruffling.
Oh dear. Right, one ruffler attachment. It looks very scary.
Yes.
It looks like something from a medieval torture chamber, I think.
It does look a little bit scary.
It does. Very, very straightforward to use. Again, it's setting it. This one is mine, and I've set it for this machine when I've been off in the hour. I would say when you get one of these, make sure you've got two little adjusting screws here. Make sure that you set it for your machine and wind it through by hand first. It comes with very comprehensive instructions to do that. I open them out. So it does show you exactly what to do to set it on here.
When you say to set it to your machine, it's only for the 340 and the 540.
It is for the 340 and the 540. You can use these on other top-loading machines, but not the 9mm ones. It wouldn't suit the 680. It's a different one for that. This is just for your standard top-loading sewing machines because you've got quite a bit of movement on the foot and again on here, so you can set it. But again, we'll look at that in more depth when we come to
And this is for creating ruffles?
Ruffles. I've done a little tiny bit practicing to make sure it's working properly for me and I've got it set correctly. And it literally will. This is just a little bit of scrap curtain lining and it's beautiful for pleating and ruffling.
Look at this.
Different ones.
I would love this for dressmaking as well.
Beautiful for dressmaking, soft furnishings, anything.
The bottom of a dress makes it a little bit more sort of
especially for children's dresses.
Yes.
You can do a single layer, longer ones, if you want to do like a tiered skirt.
Like a rah-rah sort of. Yeah, it's perfect for that.
So it does that. And also, I can do it so you can actually attach the ruffle to the top fabric as you're stitching.
Oh, yes.
So that's really nice. But again, we'll have a little show through
Again, I automatically see that as almost like the bottom of a top.
Yep.
You could have, you know, quite a plain top and then that ruffle at the bottom.
It's very popular at the moment on sleeves and things like that, isn't it?
Sort of edges, so round the bottom, round your sleeves, as you said.
I really like that. And again, aprons, anything like that is brilliant for.
Oh yeah, of course. I love a little kitchen apron with a frill. Very nice. So which one? So
which one would you?
The ruffler. I want to see the ruffler actually.
Okay.
Can we do that one first?
We can do that one first. Yeah. Okay, let's put this on. Put that one out of the way. With the ruffler, you attach it like you would a normal presser foot.
Okay.
So literally, I'm going to take this one off, drop it. The key that you do need to remember is this little piece here.
Let's just see.
Can we see that?
Should I hold this one
Do you
here?
want to hold it?
Do you mean here?
This little one here, yeah.
Just coming.
He's going there. That actually slips over where the needle screws in. Okay. So it must slip over there because that's what makes it go up and down while you're stitching. It clips on like a normal foot. Let's get that one into here. There we go. And that's the ruffler on.
Oh,
I've already preset this to this machine, so I know it's going to work probably say, but just make sure. And again, if you're not sure...
That's so quick.
I did it at the break. It's literally adjusting the screws and you don't need to do a lot. Just wind it through a whole revolution just to make sure that it's not going to catch or bang on anything. And I've got some little... These are just bits of odd curtain lining I had at home, so they're quite nice just to have a little practice with. Again, it's one of those things... Don't go speeding with it. I would never speed with a ruffler because that machine's doing an awful lot of work. We can set it as well to do a pleat every single stitch.
Ah, could you just do that once more? You just saw how it did the fold in the fabric.
It will show you in a minute when we start sewing.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it on 6 for now, just to start with. Again, a fairly slow speed. Press the foot down, don't forget, and you will see. I'm going to do 6 stitches.
I love a gadget like this. That's so clever. You really need to... I don't know if you can see from this side. It's just pushing...
It pushes the fabric. Every 6 stitches, it comes down and pushes it through.
And just folds it under. Yep. So it's... You get a really clear view from where I'm stood. You need to be where I am.
Turn around.
You can just see. I don't know.
Can we turn it round anyway?
Can we turn it round at all? Are we able to just...
Oh, that's better. No, I think we've got it on the bottom one now.
Let's have a look.
Are we okay? Yeah. So again, you can see that, and then it's just taking it through. So again, it's not something I would go mad speed on it because the machine's doing a lot of work. You're guiding the fabric to keep it straight. So that's doing every 6 stitches for us. We can set it to do every single stitch if we want, just by moving this little gizmo.
So you've got some control over if you want a really tight...
That is really tight. Gather to me on this fabric. That would be lovely on a cotton, just a lightweight single layer cotton, but really big, say like a rah-rah skirt. Or we can go every 12 stitches. So
slightly further apart.
Yeah.
This would be lovely as well if you wanted to add sort of a frill on a cushion. If you wanted to do, instead of a binding or something like that, you could
put the frills on. And again, because you've got a little screw here, you can actually take this in and out and it will alter the depth of the pleats. So it will give you deeper pleats or narrower pleats if you want to.
Depending on
depending what you're doing.
What
I'm going to take that in. So it should give us a deeper pleat. It's going to ruffle every 12 equally. But it's going to take a deeper one.
When you say deeper, it pushes it further underneath, so you get a sharper fold in the actual...
It's just a, say, like a wider turn on it, so it just gives it a little bit more.
It tucks a little bit more under.
Yeah, and we'll pop it back to 6, so you can, really. It's one of those, don't be frightened of it, have a little play with it. And just to say, these are bits of curtain lining which are ideal, just because if you remember, your different depths of pleat will mean that your... fabric is going to shrink.
My next question was just going to be, how on earth do you estimate how much fabric you need?
I would cut a 12 or 18-inch piece and just set it to how you want your finished project to be.
Yeah.
And then sew that piece. You probably use the same fabric that you're going to use for your project. Just do a sample piece of it and then measure it when you're finished.
So then you can work out
then
the
you
percentage
can work
sort of
out
reduction
what you need to multiply it by to get that finished length. It's very good for your maths. So again, you can see that's, but you can see they are perfectly even little pleats.
Perfect. And this would take so long to do up if you were going along folding. So you've got, that was the first one we started with, which was quite a narrow pleat. That was every 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was every 6.
Then we moved on to the really tight one you can see there. And then we went
12.
wider. So we went for 12.
Every 12. And then back to 6 again, but I set the pleat a little bit deeper this time.
So you can see the difference actually if you bring it round side by side. just depending on how, you know, the depth of that fold. That's really, really clever.
It's such an easy attachment to it. It just looks...
Just imagining, like...
on your sleeves, on jackets
cuffs,
now.
On shirts or things like that. I know this is... I mean, look, you can... That is a sort of... You see things like this all the time.
Very, very popular at the moment, those.
If that was attached to my
pleated ones,
sort of dress.
We can serve that on for you later.
Yes. That's my name that I've already got hidden somewhere that Jayne did for me earlier. So this is your ruffle. This is brand new. This is a launch. We've never had this on the show before. And this works on the Elna 340, the Elna 540. And also you said for general sort of machines.
You can, if you've got another one, you need to just double check. It's for top loading ones, but just always double check. And you can, there's quite a bit of movement on the settings on these. But
and it's about adjusting the screws. So
it is, you've got 2 screws to adjust on this one, but it's not suitable for the 680.
Okay.
680 because it's a wider stitch on that,
So if you've got the 340 or the 540 and you like the look of this morning, VOJE34 is your ruffle maker. And you can do all of these different sort of shape and size ruffles and different depths with those as well. It comes just like this. This is how it arrives to you. Again, although it's got Jayne written on it, it does work with the Elna machines. That's all part of the same family. The ultimate ruffler. Should we look at what would you like?
You can. Well, do you want me to just show you how you'd actually put it on so you're getting that sort of a finish?
Please,
so you're
definitely.
literally going to get that. And that is brilliant, say, for the bottom of garments, soft furnishings.
I think I've actually got cushions on my bed with ruffles around the outside, and also, like you say, if you wanted to mix and match that into curtains, or if you wanted to do
you can do it,
garden cushions.
Yes, so anything. Little girls' dresses and things like that are very nice. Again, you'd lift the presser foot up, slip the fabric that you want to attach the ruffle onto, slip that onto the machine underneath. Okay, pop it underneath there, and then put your gather. These are pressed in half. What I would do if it was quite a slippy fabric or a tricky fabric, just one of the few times I'd tack anything, just to make sure that it's not slipping while you're doing it and it ends up distorted or twisted.
Oh, so you're going to do 2 things at once now?
I'm going to do 2 things at once.
You're going to make the ruffle and attach it
to the... oh, where's the foot pedal? Oh, have I just caught my foot? No, we're fine. Again, just keep your edges together. This is when you would need to measure, because obviously you're using a lot more fabric
for the ruffle.
But it's just keeping them. You've got the guides.
For a pelmet or anything like that. Or for curtain ties, for tie backs.
Anything like that, it's brilliant for. So it's just... And again, as you can see, I'm not racing away with this. The machine's doing quite a lot of work, so just let it take its time. And it makes it much easier to guide the edges as well. If you go too fast, the danger is you'll lose the flat edge that you're stitching it onto. It'll slip out. Yeah, it will slip out, and then you will have to go back and start all over again. And again,
it's very methodical. It's actually quite relaxing to watch.
It's very relaxing, yeah. And again, I'm just going to take that and that, pull it out to the back and across. And all things being equal, we have got a low. You can see how evenly it's pleated it all the way down.
So this time it's not only done the pleats, it's attached it to the base fabric.
Base fabric, so that's it, done.
In one go, so you haven't got to do that and then apply it, you can do it in one. So this here is now attached.
So it's done. So
How
quick
quick
and
was
easy.
that?
It's one of those things, people look at them and thinking, oh my goodness gracious me, what am I going to do with that?
I have
it's
to
so
admit,
scary.
I've never heard of it. I said this morning, I said, what's a ruffle make? Like, what do you use that for? But there are so many, when you see this, you go, oh yeah, I see that all the time. This is something I see all the time, you know, not just in garments, but in lots of home furnishings. And that there, this time, has attached the ruffle straight onto your fabric, so it's ready to go, ready to use. We can just see the close-up there. Like you say, really lovely for little girls' sort of clothes and
anything.
Dresses
It's all
and
kinds of things. I'm
skirts
saying it's very popular at the moment, this.
Sort of
on
look.
Garments, yes, on blouses, jackets, everything like that. The bottoms.
Actually, again,
jackets,
like you said this morning with the embroidery, you could buy something shop-made, something plain, a plain T-shirt, and add ruffles.
Even something upcycled, something you've already got in your wardrobe. Thinking, I really like that jacket, but the fashion this year is for ruffles,
lacking a bit of
sleeves. It needs a bit of something on it. Add a little bit of a ruffle to the sleeves or along the bottom.
Or if it's plain and you've got a design, a printed fabric, or perhaps a spot-on or something like that, and you want to you know, use that.
Just
you could
jazz it up. There's nothing to stop you doing a much narrower piece, and just play with it and do a whole piece down a button band or something like that.
This is
Just
quite
around the back.
sort of you know, with a shirt on the front of a shirt,
very
a ruffle.
Regency,
Very,
very
yeah,
Mr.
very
Darcy.
Regency. Yes, very, very much so. We're all Pride and Prejudice this morning.
Yeah. So it's a nice, easy attachment to your say. The thing is, set it up to your machine, and then
We've
it's
actually
good to
had a
go.
few questions about which machine this fits. I don't know if it's on the iPad or they're just coming. We'll just check. So, would this work on the Swiss-made top-loading Elna?
Without knowing the exact model number and just having a look at it, I wouldn't like to say, because some of the older machines, it probably will do, but I couldn't guarantee it.
Okay, so we
it's
don't want
one
to
of
say
those.
yes.
I don't want to say yes
no.
if it doesn't.
Are the Elna feet being shown suitable for the Lotus?
Yes, the Lotus that we had on the other week, yes.
Yep. So you could use those for that, that'll be all right.
Should be okay with it.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the circular attachment, I'll go on to why in a minute. And again, the walking foot, you should be fine with the walking foot for the Lotus.
And the 540 that you're seeing this morning, so the one we've just used that ruffle maker on, we have actually got this on the show today as well. This machine, here it is, you can see there, 449. Who would you say this machine is good for? Is it quite a good...
It's a nice, good all-round sewing machine, and a lot of people use it in classrooms, things like that. So, but equally, if you're a beginner, it's got a lot of stitches on it. You've got, I think there's 75 stitches on there. So you've got quite... No, sorry, I'll tell it like there's 50. So you've got a lot of stitches on there to go. You've got all your basic utility stitches, but you've also got some nice decoratives, a bit of a plique, some nice buttonholes. So it's a machine you can grow with.
It's got lots of potential
really
for you to do different things on it as well.
So
let's have a look then at our next gadget. Another one that if you said to me, how are we going to use that? I would say, I've got to be honest, Jane, I'm not too sure, but we're about to find out.
It's a circular attachment. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one there.
This is the most popular so far this morning, and we've not even seen it in action yet, so let's see.
What it is with the if you can flip the box over on that, there are 3 different kinds. This one we've got today is for these machines, and if you look, there's a little picture of your bobbin lid cover on there, and that dictates which one. So if your bobbin lid is that bobbin cover is that shape, this one will work. For the simple reason that this actually clips in. This little piece actually clips into where this little piece would normally go.
You can see the mirrored shape, can't you?
Yeah, so it needs to be the right one for your machine.
So this right one this morning is again for the 540 and the 340.
340, and if you look at yours and you've got that sort of shape bobbin cover on it,
let's just show
then you should be okay with it.
Quite hard to see on that white background, but
it is. But that's really important because it does clip into there.
Okay, so we're going to clip that into our bobbin case.
Right, it's an easy thing. It consists of a slider. You've got this clips in. I'm going to show you first. That, push it down, and that slides up and down. Okay. You can get up to like a 10.5-inch circle. It's all marked here, and there's a little arrow on that plate. And if I can pick it up.
Just here.
You see it? Yeah, there's a little arrow there. And it's fine. If you're not sure on the markings, just hold a tape measure against it, just to see for yourself where it goes.
Okay.
That slides up and down, and then you've got a little, clip that, you've got a little pin under there, which goes through the centre of the fabric. So
that's where it's going to...
Really straightforward. So make sure you pop that on, because it's very sharp. I can vouch for that. And it just literally, I'm going to go, and it's on.
So you've taken the bobbin case out.
Taken the bobbin case off.
And you've used that
And
instead.
that has clipped on the top. And if the guys can, yes, they've got a nice shot of that there. So that...
They're having to work so hard this morning.
We're making them run around today.
Look at all of these different shots.
So it will just clip into there. So it's really important that you get the right one for your machine. I'm going to pop the normal presser foot back on for now. It's just a clip-on one.
Could you use this with a walking foot?
Yes.
If you wanted to, yeah. So you could
because
combine.
it's not physically doing anything to the machine, as it were. It's just guiding the fabric round. Then you're not tied to what you put. You can use with it, or I can do a straight stitch with it, or a zigzag. You can do any of the stitches with it.
It's almost acting like a compass, kind of.
Yes.
Sort of, yeah.
Yes, as I say, many years ago, it was upside-down drawing pins, and on some of the other Elnas, they've got the little pivot pin as well, haven't they? Which is the same kind of thing.
For the turning.
But this gives you a lot more scope. There's a lot more movement on here to get some really big circles as well. So I'm going to get a little bit of the spout. It's really important. I have got a marker pen somewhere. Okay, because I know you've had the white one, but it doesn't really work on this.
No, white on white.
So I'll pitch another one. I'm literally on this. Normally I would be a lot more technical, but I'm just going to fold it into 4. That's my centre point, so I'm just going to pop a little dot there. And it's just a guide for me. Again, if you were doing this on a single layer of fabric, this is where your stabilisers come in again, always you must stabilise the back.
For circles?
For circles. If you're doing it on a single layer of fabric, definitely.
Why is that then?
Because the fabric, you're saying 2 layers of fabric together, aren't you? So the fabric needs that little bit of extra support to take the stitches.
If it was just 1 layer, it wouldn't quite be
bunch up, and you wouldn't get a really nice stitch on it. So always, again, it stabilises your stitch and tear. You can take it off afterwards if you need.
There was a starter kit this morning in the show at 8 o'clock. I don't know, we might be very limited on stock on that now, but we'll try and bring... Oh, there is still a little bit available if you do want one of those. We were using it with the embroidery machine. It's got 12 different stabilisers in there. So lots of different options for wash away, tear away, cut away. And...
Yes, everything else, yeah. So that was good. So that little dot now, I'm literally going to pop that, get my pin.
So you pop your centre point.
Yeah, I can see it somewhere because it's nice and dark. So that is literally going to go through there. I'm going to put that back on. And to set the circle, it's that little clip I said earlier. Make sure you clip it back because that holds it firm. It's not going to move.
So you can set your circle size once your fabric's in place?
Yes, if you want to, or if you want to do sort of different circles, you could always do some little points, some little marks out so that you can get them spaced as you like.
OK.
There's a hole. I'm going to pop that on. I'm going to, for the first one, I think we'll just do a straight stitch. Again, don't go rushing with it. I tend to keep my finger on it. You don't really need to. I think it's just a throwback from when you used to have to
hold it in place.
Yeah, because they'd all escape otherwise. And again, that is just because it's the actual, it's not doing anything to the machine to change how the machine's working as such. You can use any foot on it. You're not tied to just using a particular foot.
So all you're doing right now is your foot is down.
My foot's sewing like I would normally be sewing if I was going in a straight line.
It's, you could guide the fabric if you wanted to, but you don't really need to.
No, I don't need to. If I was doing quite a bulky fabric or something that was quite large in the machine, I would probably keep my finger on there just as a bit of a
I'd maybe like to see this with quilting, done on a quilt.
Yeah, I've got some quilt sandwiches, so I'm just going to stop and tie off.
I just think you could do some beautiful patterns with these.
You can.
Sort of these, this was an example of one. If you use a decorative stitch as well, this was an example of one that Jayne had done using, you can just see here how it starts to build up a design. This is like a cross stitch.
I've got my little scissors here. There we go, let's pinch that.
For a lot of people, circles are the hardest thing.
Yeah. They are very difficult to get
perfect.
I mean, and that's just met absolutely perfectly. One little tip I will say, if you're doing your decoratives, it's quite difficult to get a perfect match when you come to the end if you're doing a heavily decorative stitch. So again, slow down, look where you're going, and when you start your next circle, stagger it a little bit so your eye is not pulled across. So if I'd have got it, so if you can see, the start and end points here are pretty similar, but these are okay. But if you pull them slightly past each other, your eye's not suddenly pulled.
If they were all there in one big go, you might be drawn to it.
Then normally, if you go really slowly, you can normally do it quite nicely. And again, it's something I would always pull it out and tie it off by hand. I wouldn't normally use the lock stitch feature on this.
Just to avoid any sort of extra bolt that might pull your eye.
Well, the lock stitch, if I did the lock stitch on this, it runs on and finishes that stitch for me. So if I just stop and pull it out, then...
Our perfect circle becomes not quite so perfect.
It doesn't. So we can pop another one in if you want. Should we do a zigzag?
Yeah, no, go for it.
So again, pop it back into there.
So always going for the centre point if you're doing sort of concentric circles, and then you can use...
You can if you want. We can move it across a little bit if you like.
Oh, so you could do overlap.
Yeah, there's nothing
like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Do you know those?
She's
lost. Do you remember like at school where you've got the circles that all overlap?
It's a long time since I was at school. A very long time. Again, we're just going round so you can. You can do part circles if you want. You're not tied to doing a full circle all the time.
Oh, so you could do sort of semicircles or...
You can basically... Let me just take that and take that out. Okay. So you're just going around. So you can have some great... Brilliant for reverse applique.
Yes.
Because you can put your layers together, do your circles on top, then cut back where you want.
If you want where you want to be.
You've taken your measurements, made a note of what you're doing, then you can go back, and it's easy enough to put it back on the same level with this anyway, because you've got so much movement, and then you can just go back and satin stitch over
If you want to cut away and reveal something underneath, and you want that perfect circle.
So you can do those. So that's just so easy to use. I say some of these things, I think they look very scary, don't they? And you look at it and think, what am I going to do with that?
Also, it's just, you look at that and I go, well, how does that make a circle?
Yeah.
It's, but it does. There we go.
It's very easy.
Time saving as well from that point of view.
It is, yeah.
Whereas, I mean, what's the alternative? To mark it out, to follow it round?
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult if you've drawn it round there to get that perfect circle. It's quite
because it's a
difficult.
standardised, you know, a set circle. You know exactly what you're going to get, and as you say, you can use the measures on the actual
and so
on the actual implement to check the size of it.
So you can get up to about a 10.5-inch circle on here, which is quite large. So again, you can do a whole range of them. You can cut them up, put them in quilts, turn them round. You can get some really nice patterns going on with them.
Lay them over like bubbles, or you could do
all kinds
anything
of things
like that.
with them.
Snowmen in Christmas mode.
You in Christmas mode again?
We had Christmas on Friday. We had Christmas in August, so I've got some Christmassy thoughts in my head. But this one here is UZJE39. This is the most popular thing this morning so far. Making perfect circles with your stitches. Can we just see one funky stitch?
Of course we can.
With a circle.
I'm going to put quite a large one on, and we can do multiple funky stitches if you want. It's quite nice sometimes just to pop that back on. There we go. Pop it back in there.
Always remembering to put that
pin on. This is very, very sharp. As I say, I can vouch for that because on more than one occasion I have caught my fingers on it.
Oh.
And it's just being careless on my part, really. It's just get yourself into that little mode of thinking, what funky stitch should we have? I think if we go for 47.
Oh, yes.
That's quite a nice one.
You could do, as well with decorative stitches, I really am in Christmas mode now, but you could do snowflakes, couldn't you?
You could. They're lovely for placemats as well, some of the metallic threads.
Yes,
again, make sure you put the metallic
sheen.
needle in with it and just take your time with them. So you can do some really nice circles. You can do your decorative circles onto some plain fabric, put the wadding and the backing on, and then just put some straight stitch circles in between to quilt it all together.
Oh, so you've got that outer one,
so it's all done. So then it's all done in one go.
Oh, this is nice. And you use the metal threads, don't you, as well?
Yeah, this is the green one out of your summer pack that you got over there. I had a pack, so I have a nice bright green.
To use one. What do you like about the metal threads?
I use the polysheen ones for the embroidery, which I do like.
Because they give you that sheen, like we had on the on my name this morning.
Yes, and you do need to use the polysheen with the embroidery. Again, they're lovely for doing this sort of thing with as well, the polysheens, because you've got that nice shine on the threads. Cotton threads, just 100% cotton threads, say I quilt, so I will use them for those. And again, it's nice to do the bright colours for decorative stitches.
And for construction and puttings and piecing and things like that, you want a thread where you've got that durability.
You do need,
and they are 100% cotton.
Yes,
all of the metal ones.
Those. And again, if you're working with your cotton fabric with the quilts, it's worth.
Which one's most popular at the moment? And producer Paul, out of our threads, it's the Christmas polysheen. Should I just grab that one? I'm just going to quickly grab it so I can show you. I'll bring them over to me. So this one here has actually got some metallics. And these are the only ones that aren't 100% cotton, haven't said that.
No, they'll be polyester.
These ones are polyester.
Yeah.
But you've got some really sort of lovely metallics there with your red, silver, gold, green. And then you've also got regular polysheens in a cream and a red and a navy and green. So the polyester ones, what would you use that for, different to the cottons?
For these, I use the polyester ones for machine embroidery.
Oh, okay.
So, and again, decorative stitches, I mean, they would be lovely on the decorative stitches, say for Christmas table mats, runners, all kinds of things, when you're doing your little snowflake.
If you're a magpie.
Yeah.
So this Christmas one's the most popular at the moment, KWEQ53. Now we've also got the, at the moment we're working with the 540 machine. We've also got the 340 machine on this morning as well. So we'll just have a quick look at the picture of that. This one is 259, so this is a much more affordable machine. This is a beginner machine.
It's more of a beginner machine, but again, equally, if you want a workshop machine, just something to take to classes, is perfect for that.
Because it's nice and sort of easy
it's
to
nice
take
and
on
easy.
the go.
It's nice and easy to use. Yeah, it's a nice compact machine. And it's a nice robust machine as well.
And it's also still got lots of nice features built in.
It has, yes.
You know, it isn't. You're not compromising in terms of the actual quality of what you could create using those machines. It's obviously just a smaller one. And all of our sewing machines that we use on the show, all of our designers, the machines you'll always see on our desk are from Elna. They're our home brand for sewing machines. So obviously, you know, as a sewing channel, we have a pick and choice of what machines we want to use, and we always go for Elna, and our designers use them for all of their projects, and they sort of request different ones that they like to work with, whether that be the 540, the 340, the 680, because they are so intuitive and easy to work with.
I'm just going to pull that through to the back, and I've just stopped, so you've not got too bad. So I could tweak that a little bit as well.
Perfect circle.
So again, it's
with a decorative stitch. Comes into its own with a decorative stitch.
It does, because you can do lots of things, but to be able to use all your different feet with this as well just makes such a vast difference.
I love it with the decorative. It's much more interesting, isn't it, visually, than the regular circles.
So you can layer those up as well, and you can get some really nice effects.
Which is what you've done on this one.
On that one, that's just some little ones.
But using as well, you said, with the stabiliser, if you've got that one layer of fabric.
Just with one layer of fabric, always stabilise it, because you need that extra body to give it a really good quality finish.
So that one there is the Elna circle cutter, circle device. So this, where are we? We're here.
That one?
This one. UZJE39, really popular if you've got the 340 or the 540. And again, could you use this with other top-loading machines?
It goes on the bobbin case cover. You've got to make sure. We only do 3 different ones. This is the one we've currently got in stock with you at the moment, so you need to check the shape of that cover.
That's the shape of your bobbin.
Because it actually clips into there, you've got to get the right one for your machine.
It's this part here, you can see, this mirrors the shape of the bobbin cover there, and so it does need to be that shape to fit onto your machine. So that's another premiere this morning. We've had the ruffles, creating these that we've attached to our fabric. We've done circles, and then the final thing we've got is our walking foot. Now, this is something that we probably talk about quite, very regularly on the show, and perhaps we don't really go into detail of how it works. If you're a beginner sewer, perhaps you've got a machine that didn't come with a walking foot, because for a lot of people, this is an addition. Yeah. This isn't something that comes with your machine. And what we use it for. So let's have a chat about that.
It's not primarily for quilting, although we do use it for quilting all the time. But it's if you're doing heavy layers in dressmaking, soft furnishings, anything like that, it will help you feed it through.
It's going to help give you that
helps it go through. You need to take the whole ankle of the foot off when you put the walking foot on. So the foot holder, this little piece, I'll drop that off. That piece comes off here.
So we've taken off both parts of the foot.
A little tip as well is before you go to put this on, because it's open at the front, you can clip it around, pop the screw back in a few turns. It just makes it a little bit easier. You don't need an extra hand to hold everything. And again, with the ruffler, that went around the little bar that holds the needle in. This piece must go on the top.
It needs to be above.
It needs to be on the top. This has got to be above it.
It sort of slots over the top, doesn't it?
It goes in, so that just goes and it tucks on. And you can see by putting the screw in, I've made my life a little bit easier. Yeah. Because it's already in.
You're there ready to go.
So I can finger tighten it. Again, with all your feet, always, when you're changing them over like this, use your screwdriver and give it that little bit of a turn just to make it nice and tight.
So that's then locked into place.
It's on. And again, you can see, if I wind that down, you can see, and if the guys can get a shot of that, how it's sitting on the top.
It's this part here, you can just see where it sits over the top of the bar.
The little white arm sits on there. So now I'm going to...
Just coming. There it's just underneath, actually. I don't know if we can see. We might need to do a shot from... Maybe if we might have to tilt.
Do a little tilt.
Here we go. We're getting technical now.
Too much. Oh, no, that's perfect now.
Here it is, we can show you. So it's just this white bar here needs to sit over this bar.
Where the needle clamp is.
Okay.
And again, with your walking foot, because it's got that feed on the top and it's working in conjunction with the feed underneath, you're not going to have any success doing decorative stitches because it's designed for everything to move together at the same speed. Zigzag is fine normally and straight stitches, but I have got some little bits of quilts. I did have a nice green one, which isn't very good on this, is it? When we've got green. So
green screen.
We've had the Christmas theme now, so we've got red and green.
See, it happens quite quickly. It's contagious, this Christmas malarkey.
Pop the needle down. I don't know if we can see it. I'm going to slow it right down. So if we can see it when it's working, you can see how these little teeth on the top here are going up and down, and that is going to feed it all through, so it's taking that top layer through as well.
Because these ones that you can see here on the top, the white section you can see moving up and down, they're mirroring the feed dogs that are underneath that are built into your machine.
So it's helping everything go through together.
So where normally you would just have the feed dogs in that bottom plate.
Yeah, and the top foot, if you look underneath, is quite flat, isn't it? So that's putting a lot of pressure on it.
So if it was just working in conjunction with the feed dogs on the bottom and this flat, normal foot, you know, that top fabric might move through at a different pace or a different rate.
It tends to push it, it tends to slide.
If you've got two pulling it through together at the same time, as those two top and bottom sections are meeting, they're helping to just almost, drag feels like a negative connotation,
no,
but
it just
it
feeds
is helping
it through,
it
eases
exactly
it.
that.
It's the even feed foot, so it does help go through together. So I'm doing it really slowly so you can see the feet going up and down. And we're still getting to the end and we're still the same way that we started from.
Just nice and even,
So
and it just means that when you get to the edge, that the wadding and the fabric in that quilt sandwich has all stayed nice and, you know, in line with each other.
It's nice and even, so you haven't dragged it anywhere, as you say. You've dragged it, pulled it out.
For many people, if you've got a machine that didn't come with a lot of additional feet, this is the foot. That slipped out. This is the first foot that most people will buy that. Yes,
the first foot. Yeah.
You use it all the time.
Yeah, so you can use it soft furnishings, dressmaking, quilting. It goes across all applications of sewing because of the very nature of what it does. It helps you to sew heavy layers.
You can see here you've ended up with that nice even edge at the end, rather than if you didn't have this on, that top fabric might have slipped through at a slightly different rate, so then you would end up with it really uneven. You might have, you know, fabric.
And again, it distorts it because if you're trying to do, it's going to push that forward, so it's not going to be a nice even stitch right through all your layers as well. So
also, to do with keeping your wadding in the, you know, you want that to be nice and evenly spread, so you get that feel to your quilt.
And again, it's nice to work with a zigzag. We just pop straight onto a zigzag on here. Nice quick change on these for that. I'll speed it up a little bit on this one. So, but say anything more than a zigzag, I probably wouldn't put my walking foot on.
So the decorative stitches don't lend themselves to a walking foot?
No, because if you look at it, the feed is designed to walk everything forward, isn't it? Your decorative stitches are going sideways. Sometimes it might go backwards a little bit slightly, so it's all...
Like we just did actually on this circular one, if it was having to move side to side, or do you think...
And again, it's going to move everything. All the layers aren't going to sit nicely together.
Works beautifully with the zigzag, though.
Zigzag's fine, straight stitches are fine. So it just goes through quite easily.
So you can see quite easily there, that's just done that with the zigzag stitch as well. Now, it's gone crazy. We've had a flurry of people ordering the ruffler. Can we see that in action again?
You can. The ruffler is one of those feet that you look at it, because they're quite expensive, to be honest. It's not something, you know, you buy on a whim. But when you actually see it work, you're thinking, yes, why did I never get one of those before?
I'd never even heard of it. I didn't know that it was possible. If you've not seen the ruffler in action, we're about to show you. And I'm going to just move these bits and pieces. Actually, these are yours. I'm going to pop those in the trolley.
Let me just undo this.
So you can see the ruffler on your screen. We're just going to turn that machine as well a tiny bit so we can get some different...
Can I just... Let me just get this foot off first and then we'll...
Let me show you the ruffler. So it comes like this in a little box, but actually you need to see it at work to really see what it does, because if, like me, you look at this and you go, I don't really know what that does or what that would create. This is creating sort of pleats or ruffles that otherwise would take a really long time to go along and to by hand to pop those into place. And this is what we did this morning. We started first of all by looking, you can vary the width if you want to go every 6 stitches or every 12, and we started with doing a six width there. And then we went for something slightly wider. You can, first of all, we tightened it, so you can create a tighter pleat if you want to. And then we widened it, so we went for every 12 stitches. Lovely if you want to add these to cuffs or collars or the bottom of little dresses and skirts. Lovely for the edging, and also you can vary the depth at which this is folded. So here at the end we started to go for deeper folds. So again, just creates a different sort of feel to how the fabric lays. Also with this, you can attach the ruffle straight onto the piece of fabric that you're working with at the same time. You don't have to just create this strip and then attach it. So this one here, we did that all in one go. So we attached the ruffle you can see on the back here to the main body of the fabric, whether that's a garment or whether that is home furnishings. And that finished effect is so effective. As I said, if you were having to go along and do that and sort of fold those all in and pin those into place, you could imagine there that was the edge of a cushion, or perhaps they're making ruffle jokes in my ear. So they're just a ruffle Howard. They're doing... Ruffle Crow, they're doing...
Oh, very funny. It's obviously bored up there, aren't
I
they?
know,
They're not working hard
they're
enough.
ruffles. What are we talking about? We've got Ruffle Crow, Ruffle Howard.
I'm going to take this one out of the packaging. That's on the machine now, just to show you. I don't know if the guys can get the camera so they can see where you would change it for the different stitches.
Ah, here.
Okay, so on the front. Okay, so you can see it says 0, it will sew in a straight stitch for you. Sometimes you might want to do that to hold 2 pieces together.
Yeah.
And then you've got 1, which means it goes every single stitch. It'll gather. Well, I'll put a single piece through because it's a double piece of fabric, so it's a bit heavy for that. So you can do that every single stitch, every 6 stitches, or every 12 stitches.
And you can vary
so
that
you
once
can
you've got
vary
it on the machine.
And again, once, can we see it on the side again? There's a screw here. If you can see this screw, by turning that in and out, that makes the pleat shallower or deeper.
So depending on once it's on the machine, you can adjust
You
that.
can adjust it to your
which is what
fabrics
we
to
did
suit
here,
your
wasn't
project.
it? To sort of see if
so
you
you
want
can suit your different projects. You would, but again, I say always cut a piece of your fabric, the length, the set length, 12, 18 inches. Set it how you want it. Run that through, then it gives you an idea of how much you need to cut to do the whole project.
Because also varying, you know, depending which depth you've gone for is going to vary how much fabric you'll end up with.
So it's always worth doing that first, just to check, because there's nothing worse than getting to the end and you're about...
So if you want an end of pieces that's 30 centimetres, you need to figure out, first of all, maybe you need to start with 45 centimetres, or you can work.
It depends on the depth of the pleat, how often you're going to pleat it, so it's very good for mental arithmetic.
Have a play and sort of, yeah, you know,
it is worth it. And again, keep some little notes, you know, write on your bits and pieces what you've got it set at, and how long you started with the fabric, just so you've got it. So if you're coming to do another project in the future, you've got a rough idea of what you were doing with that one. I'm going to just chop the end of that piece off if I can.
This piece?
Yeah,
of course.
Chop that one off with little scissors. Maybe that one. But these are just odd scraps of curtain lining, which are great to play around with.
Let's just see this ruffle in action.
I'm going to put this under here.
I think Ruffle Crow would be impressed with the ruffle.
I think he would indeed.
He might wear one of those Regency shirts in some sort of in lameness or something like that.
I'm going to put that around. I'm going to put this on every single... There we go. So that's a single. We're going on here. So that's every 12. I'm going to take it down to every 1 now, just to show.
You really need to see it on this side. I wonder if we can
get the guys to do it.
If we turn the machine, are we able to... I want you to just see how it's pushing it under and folding it. I don't know if...
Can we turn it around?
To here, maybe?
Move all our bits of rubbish out
the other way. Let's try the other way. I know it seems a bit... I just think this is where you can actually see how it works. From that angle, you're not quite managing to see. There's a little section at the side that's creating those folds.
I'm going to pop this onto every 6. Leave it as is. And again, folded edge, as I said earlier, if it's a slippy fabric or something that's a bit tricky, tack it. It's one of the few times I'd actually tack anything. Tack it first.
Let's see if we can adjust. I wonder if here we might catch it.
Popping it through so it's underneath. I'm going to put the needle in. Needle down on the top. Okay.
It's this here that's going to be folding.
I'm going to slow it right down so that it's going really, really slowly.
I still don't know if you can really see that. It's here, this here is pushing. You can just see it creating that. There it is.
There you go.
It's folding it, that's what I wanted you to see. It's pushing into the fabric and creating those folds. Yes, we've got it. It was worth moving for. That's what I wanted you to see because it's so clever.
Doing well.
It's almost like a little hand or a finger pushing it in, isn't it?
It's just doing it. But again, it's something I wouldn't put this on a high speed to do this because, again, you've got to guide the fabric and you want a lovely even ruffle when you're done. So it's quite therapeutic, actually.
Yeah, it's to just watch it.
Go home and ruffle everything now. So it's so popular at the moment and on trend. Again, with the machine embroidery.
It's very fashionable.
And these on clothes, yes. Just go home and make it.
So that's the ruffler. We are VOJE34, really, really popular this morning. We are limited on time now. We just wanted to quickly show once more the circle, if we can.
Yep.
So we'll
take
get that
a tiny little bit. Oh, too fast. a little bit overexcited there.
But the ruffler, you can see, that was the graphic that was just on your screen. Is that still the most popular this morning? Oh, it's going between. It goes between the circles and the ruffles. So
there you go. So that was.
Here we go. Look at that. That actually is perfectly as a collar. It's really clever, really, really clever. And that there is the slightly shallower fold. But if you want to go for a deeper one, you can create. I like the wider ruffles as well. if you want to use those and pop those into different garments and things. But exactly like you say, one of those things that you might see and think...
It's a bit scary. If you look at it, I haven't got the faintest idea what I'm going to do
out
with
of context,
it's just a thing, isn't it?
But
it looks a very scary thing. Again, this again, in the top where your bobbin cover goes, pop that one back in.
So this one here is the circular sewing device. So it's about creating circles. You can use decorative stitches, you can use zigzag, straight stitches, and we've got some examples of things that Jayne's done with that.
Something like one over
like
there.
These. So this was with like a cross stitch, but it gives you a perfect circle. So you just drop that pin into the central section, and then you can work it around to create these circles. Now, both of these devices being used this morning for the Elna 540 and the Elna 340. And this one is dependent on which bobbin case you have. So you need to just check because it slips in there where the bobbin cover goes.
That's how you attach it. I'm going to pop that back on there. Again, if I was using a fairly light fabric, I would definitely stabilise it. And I'd probably pop a little bit of masking tape on the back, just where the pin's going to go in.
Okay.
Go in there. And again, we can slide it to whatever we need. I'm going to start with a fairly small one. Pop that on, press a foot down.
Should we go for a decorative one again?
What should we have? Again, you can use your satin stitches and things in here, but they are quite heavy. Do you want to have a look at number 22?
Why not? We've got about a minute or so. I don't know if we can whiz a circle out in a minute.
We can have a little, we can certainly try
it. These ruffles. They've got ruffles everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll have a project now on the show with some ruffles in.
Maybe we
can use
brilliant, say for aprons, anything like that.
Oh, yeah, like a nice homely sort of... I think for garden cushions, for the pelmet of curtains.
Anything, really.
Really, you could add a ruffle to absolutely anything.
To most things, yes, yeah. And again, you can see those.
And also remember, it's 1 P&P per day, so it's $2.95 per day, depending on, you could order anything at all up until midnight, and you would only pay one lot of postage and packaging. So if you're ordering a sewing machine from us this morning, whether that's the 540 or the 340, or even those embroidery machines, you will only pay $2.95 for that delivery. I don't know if we're going to get a whole circle.
I can't believe where this hour's gone to. I have to do these again, I think.
Come back we need to do, I want to do a project with ruffles. That's my... That's a nice top.
Okay, you can see, it just opens up a whole new range of possibilities for you with the sewing machine.
Just lots of different things that you didn't even, here, even if we end up with a semicircle, you can just see giving you those perfect curves that sometimes people are scared of tackling.
Yeah. Okay. Chop that one off.
So we're actually out of time in this hour, so it's gone super quick. I know. I'll keep talking. We'll leave that going. But thank you so much for bringing those in to Jayne. Jayne from Elna, our Queen of Elna, showing us about embroidery and quilting machines this morning, and also our sewing machines. Now, in the next hour, we've got some fat quarters. So we've got lots of different pre-cut fabrics to share with you. Fat quarter bundles from a few different designers. And also we've got some fabrics I'm just going to recap from this hour. So just one last shot of our circle you can see being made there as I head over to the other side. Lovely for coasters.
It's fabulous. It just opens up all sorts of different ideas.
Lots of possibilities.
That you can do things,
Thank you so much, Jayne.
You're welcome.
Just look at those fabrics. So we've got these different fabric bundles this morning, 4 different options, but in different colourways and different combinations. I'm going to start with my favourite. So this one here is lobster and aqua. And then you've got a cream solid in that bundle as well. So you get 1.5 metres of fabric in total. But that papaya colour there, absolutely gorgeous. This is my favourite bundle this morning. Then we've got our pinks. So we've got an orchid, a damson and a teal. 3.5 metres again, so 1.5 metres of fabric in total. And again, those rich uniform solids there. These are all 100% cotton. The purple bundle. This is actually the most popular colourway, $9.45. We've also got our tea rose with the crosshatch linear look. You've got the teal spot on and a teal solid. So this has got quite a vintagey feel to it with this colour palette. That dusty pink you can see on the bottom. JXGC99. And finally was our red, which we never had the graphic for earlier this morning. So if you do like this one, you've got the red crosshatch look. You've got the mushroomy colour in a solid on the bottom there. And then you've got a buttermilk. Now, the image online is actually different. This is mocha, which is what will come in your bundle. So if you're looking at that online and seeing a different picture, this is what you will get. This is what arrives with CPGC00 12.95. Now, after the break, I mentioned I'm here on my own in the next hour. We've got some fabric bundles for you, lots of different pre-cuts, fat quarters, and some books and inspirations to share. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in 3 minutes, and I'll share those fabrics with you. So I hope you like the look of those. We've got some gorgeous different bundles from this hour. We've had the quilting machine and those lovely circles and ruffles. I'll see you in 3 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter for more inspiration, top tips, news, and share your own creations with us.
Tune in on the 31st of August when textile artist Tilly Rose joins us back in the studio. At 8 a.m, Tilly will be sharing all of her tips and experience to help you learn freehand embroidery, as well as showing us the Elna 680EX sewing machine. With a vast amount of features and 170 different stitches, this must-have machine will certainly meet all of your sewing needs. Then at 10 a.m, join us for a masterclass with Tilly. She'll show us more freehand embroidery techniques using features on the Elna 680EX to create some gorgeous autumnal panels. The perfect project for those cosy nights in. So join Tilly on the 31st of August for her masterclass on freehand embroidery at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.
The Sewing Quarter website is simple and easy to use. You can view a live broadcast of the show on our homepage. Get instant access to our online shop, which has a wide range of wonderful products for you to choose from. You can also enjoy a selection of projects and guides which we have on offer to help you enhance your skills and gain valuable tips. Watch the live shows and you can buy the product which is currently being shown on air. You can even message the studio to ask our presenters or team any questions you might have. Below, you'll find all the products from today's show for you to look at and purchase. On the right of the screen, next to today's products, you will find our simple program guide listing all upcoming shows. So, join us today at sewingquarter.com. Britain's favourite sewing show is coming to London and we'll be there with bells on. The Great British Sewing Bee Live is taking place over 4 days from the 21st to the 24th of September at XL London. If you're a hobbyist dressmaker who's been inspired by what you've seen on the Sewing Bee, a seasoned professional looking for new ideas, or just fancy taking dressmaking up for the first time, this is the event for you. We are proudly sponsoring the Demo Theatre, with live performances from designer, author and former Sewing Bee contestant Jennifer Taylor throughout the weekend. And with our discount code SQD, you'll get £1.50 off your ticket. So what are you waiting for? Grab your tickets now and join the buzz at the Great British Sewing Bee Live this September. When you spend £10 on your first purchase, you will receive this free sewing kit from the Sewing Quarter worth £14.99.
Good morning, welcome back to our final hour here at Sewing Quarter today. If you've been watching this morning, I've had the pleasure of being joined by two very knowledgeable ladies, all looking at Elna, lots of different things, lots of different features we've picked out on those quilting machines, embroidery machines, and well, I've learnt lots about rufflers and circle makers and all different sorts of things. Now, look at this. In this hour, I've got the absolute pleasure of being joined by fabric. So my friend in this hour is our fabric. We've got lots of fat quarter bundles. We've got some that I've never seen on the show before. We're bringing you lots of lovely options this morning that might be new to some of you as well. Obviously, fat quarters are a really versatile pre-cut that you can use for all sorts of different projects. So where to begin? Shall I just go for my favourite? OK, let me just take 2 seconds to decide what my favourite one's going to be. I need to pick sensibly because... Oh. This is really unusual. I'm going to start with this one. Let's have a look. Let's move these to the side. So this one here is a 7-piece fat quarter bundle from Alison Glass. I'm just going to open some of these to give you an idea. So you've got 7 in this bundle here. You've got lovely colourways in pinks, yellows, but a really unusual design, sort of intricate designs with an outline. That's what caught my eye. So you can just see there, sort of quite busy designs. Lots of different colours. But just picking out, you can just see there with the different colourways. So you've got in this one, this is a 7-piece fat quarter pack. Now, the confusing thing about this might be this morning is that we've also got this pack in a 6-piece. So there is one less colour in that other pack, which is, it's minus a, let me do my checking. Let's look. What's missing? This is like a test. So we've got that one, we've got that one. We've got the dark pink. No, I'm not going crazy. There's 7 in this one here on my table as well. So one of those is not meant to be there, but you can just see this is the 7-piece here. So you've got this, this is almost a black, then you've got a teal, a green, a red, or sort of a corally red, a golden yellow, a pink, and a dark purple. That's the sun print fat piece. Fat quarter bundle. Then this next one I'm going to go for is a batik. So this is really unusual. This here, these are dyed using a wax. So that means that there are certain areas of the fabric where that dye is not going to penetrate, and therefore you get really interesting designs. Now, you also have a different feel to the fabric as a result of that. And there's no right or wrong sides with these, so you can use them both ways around. So this one here, really bright, bold colours. You can just see in your oranges, here moving through into your aquas. Batik's lovely for applique because it frays a lot less. I love that one. But you've got 7 pieces in this fat quarter bundle. Look at this one, like buttons. But some really gorgeous, and love the way the colours come together in these because of how they've been dyed. Rather than having one sort of rich saturation of colour, you really do get sort of different gradients going through them there. And as I said, the batik does have a different feel. IPFW72 is the 7-piece batik pack. And we don't have a lot of batiks on the show. Actually, yesterday in the, saying that, I'm going to contradict myself now, but we had in the cave facet quilt we had yesterday, there was one section that was with a batik, and it gives it a really, from a sensory perspective, it gives it a really different feel, because if you transition between, you know, if you mix and match a cotton, a regular cotton with a batik, you get a different, as you sort of run your hands across that, whether you use this for an applique section, or if you use this to mix and match with a patchwork, you get a different feel to the bag or the cushion or the quilt, which is really lovely. Now, the Alison Glass you can see on the front of the table that I opened to start with, there's a 7-piece one here, but there's also a 6-piece version of that. So it doesn't have the lighter pink option in the 6-piece fat quarter bundle. So obviously slightly more affordable, as you've got one less piece of fabric there. UBFW14 is the 100% cotton 6-piece fat quarter bundle. Then we've also got some other patterned ones here. I'm going to just move these ones to the side. Now, I'm going through these very quickly to start with, just so you can see everything we've got on offer, and then I'll take some time to go through them and break them down so you can actually have a chance to digest them. Now, I was going to look at this lovely pattern one next that's sort of got a very spring-like feel to it. It's got some greens, and also this one here almost looks stitched. I don't know if you can see. So this is a 4-piece fat quarter bundle. You've got a grass green with that. They look like little individual stitches going through the fabric. Then you've got that on sort of edging towards a black, but it's a dark grey. Then you've got it here as well on a blue. And then you've got your birds, which teams beautifully with the green dashed fabric. £16.50, and that's the Heartwood 4-piece fat quarter pack. I've got so many to choose from. Let's look at some some of these moder ones. So you might see this morning we've got lots of solids bundles, and these are slightly different to some of the other bundles we've had on the show before. So these are sort of designer selections of fat quarters that are plain, and they're giving you a wider range of colours to choose from. I mean, don't we all love just how fat quarters arrive? That's just like a present. And this actually is wrapped up in a ribbon that's like a tape measure. I don't know if we can see here. This one is the, let's see if we've got a name on this. I don't know if it has, you know. This just says this is the Bella bundle. So you can just see that tape measure ribbon on the top. And then I'm going to undo that and show you what's inside. So if we just take this away. So you've got a navy, then you've got a khaki green, a lighter green, then you've got a spearmint, just leave that out of the way, you've got an aqua, this is the Bella Solids bundle. Then you've got a lighter blue. Now this actually, with different fabrics, would look very different. There is a hint of blue in that, but it's, you know, quite close to a white. But if you paired that with a darker fabric, like you can just see here, you know, a darker blue, you can see the hint of blue in that. Oh, this is a lovely one. Nice sort of plum colour. Then you've got a brighter pink. You've got a dusty pink, a tea rose, and a coral. So in total you've got, let's just check. We're just checking the graphic on that. We don't want to give you the wrong one, but I'm just going to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A beautiful sort of spectrum of colours there. Let's check the name on that so we can just double check. So, yeah, the AB bundle, Bella Solids. So the code, let me read it from here, is GORW68. They've got it upstairs. We're all good, so you can buy that one if you want to. But this is a 12-piece fat quarter bundle. This end of the spectrum is these are my sort of favourite colours, really. Particularly, I love corals. Let's just move that one. We got there eventually. And these are 22 inches by 18 inches. I'll open one. I'll open my favourite colour. Just so you can see what you know, the sorts of things you can use these for. Obviously, with fat quarters, you're taking 1/4 of the metre of fabric, but rather than it being cut across, it's being divided into sections that are much more usable. So if you want something where you've got, you know, a bit more fabric to play with, and the lovely thing, obviously, with the design patterns is it means you get a little bit more of the design because obviously then you've got a corner rather than a strip. So it's a much more usable piece of fabric. And I know lots of you have got these I've got, you know, stashes full of fat quarters. And it's lovely to have some solids to team with those designer prints. You know, you've got the option, therefore, to pick out different colours that might be in the design. Now, let's not get confused. Let's keep these all together. Now, another colourway. So this one here, should I read the code for this one? Because we're just having some trouble. So UMRW87. This one is called, don't know if we've got a name on here. This is Sweetwater. So again, wrapped up all beautifully like a nice little present. I love this tape measure ribbon. You could definitely use that. So our colourways here, we'll start first of all with a cream. Then we've got a red. Yellows and oranges. I'm just going to quickly go through these. And you've got some darker blues and greys there as well. That's that one. We're going to quickly whiz through these so you can see all of the different ones we have. Our next one, CIRW41. I know you're probably thinking, what's she talking about? We're just trying to get the graphics upstairs so we can get them on your screens for you. So let's have a look at this one like this. Oh, this is a lovely colour collection. Beautiful orchid colours there. You've got some unusual blues. And then again, greys and greens on the bottom. That's the Kate Spain Fat Quarter bundle. Kate Spain designs a lot for Moda, and she really is into sort of surface design and different things with fabrics, but also in other materials. So this next one here is LYRW05. This bundle is a more muted bundle. It's sort of more pastel tones. This one is called Fig Tree. So each of these fat quarters just over £3.30 per fat quarter. Some nice golden sort of beiges in there as well. That's your Fig Tree. Then we've also got, have we got a packet for this one? We do. This one is CYRW81. Me and producer, I feel like I'm talking to producer Paul, who's here and also here. So we've got some different colours. Again, in this one, this is a really bright, bold fat quarter bundle. Producer Paul likes this one. So really, you've got some lovely oranges here in the bottom of this, and then you've got pinks, greens, blues, and purples. Again, those 22-inch by 18-inch pieces. Now, all of these this morning, we haven't got masses of stock, and some of them are already really, really popular. So if you do like them and you see something you like, you do need to add those to your basket and check it out. If you don't know how that works, if something on the website is in your basket, that's only guaranteed once you've finished the order and that's sort of all been processed. So you can either give the call centre a ring or just make sure you've checked it out. Obviously, you'll only pay one lot of P&P anyway, so you won't be charged twice. Now, which ones haven't we looked at? Let's go for this patterned one. Ooh. I like this one. This is a 6-piece fat quarter bundle. So we want the code for this one. We've got this one, VLFW90. So here we've got some much busier patterns, some more things going on. We've got some stripes, 2 different stripe colourways. Got lovely little birds here with a heart detail. This one you've got with sort of spirals of florals and butterflies, again with that running theme of your hearts and your birds. The 2 different stripe colourways. Then here you've got almost a ditzy print with those florals. And these like water droplets there, oh, just flowing through that fabric. That's the Papillon VLFW90. So many fabrics in this hour, lots to choose from. That's why we're just going to quickly go through them to start with so you get an idea of what's here. Now, this one. Do you need a code again? YLFW34, producer Paul. OK, so let's have a look at this top bundle. Oh, I've not seen this one before. So we've got a lilac here with almost like a cloud and also a cross or a kiss running through this on that top one. Then underneath that, we've got some more in this colourway. This is Floral Splendour. So a ditzy floral print under that. And then a mirror image of that lilac, but in a navy blue. Then you've got that sort of stitch look fabric again. You've got your tulips. And that one almost like little rulers all in your fabric. YLFW34. That's a 7-piece fat quarter bundle from Floral Splendour. Now, this morning, obviously, the focus in this Elna show today has been on machines, and you can't. There's no point in having a machine without fabric. So, in this hour, we're looking at different fat quarters, different options in solids, but also designer prints for you to use and to utilise in different projects. Now, also fat quarters in terms of solids, we've got 2 bundles here. I'll start first of all with the rose bundle. These fly out whenever we have these on the show. In fact, they normally sell out really, really quickly. These are fantastic value, £9.95. You get 8 fat quarters for that price. You've got a selection of pinks there, just running through up into your coffee colours, so your mocha, your buttermilk, your latte, and your white on the top. These are, as I say, incredibly popular because they are fantastic value, 54 centimetres by 45 centimetres. And then we've also got that in an iris colourway, so more of your blues and purples. So you've got teals, navies, you've got some royal purples, dusty purples, and then moving into duck egg blues, and again, your white on the top. And these also work beautifully together if you wanted to mix and match these. Obviously, you've got that cream and the sort of taupe mushroomy colours running through. But the pinks do work as well if you want to match those up with the blues. Now, I think that might be all of the fat quarters, but we've also got a, well, you might know these as a layer cake, but we, some of the designers here, you call them charm packs, and I know that charm packs are 5-inch squares. Obviously, your layer cakes are 10-inch squares. If you see me referring to this as a charm pack, these are 10-inch squares this morning. So these are really unusual prints, and we've got a lovely collection here. How many? 40 pieces in this collection. So loads and loads of fabric. But let's look at some of the designs. This one here talking about how many yards equals certain amounts of inches. So talking about different, you know, imperial and metric, and lovely for those sewing projects. You've got some monochrome prints, sort of geometric monochromes. I've never seen this one before. Then those geometrics mirrored in those soft coffee colours. Ooh, it's unusual, sort of got a stripe running through it. It's quite hard for me to hold this packet and to do these. I'm struggling to do both. Then you've got some little triangles coming through in this. Lots of colour, different sort of colour options, and oh, that's lovely sort of pink collection. Goes beautifully with that bundle, this rose bundle. Talking about cutting fabric off the bolt, you've got stitches and scissors, and you've got that fabric in a few different colourways, so you could combine it with some of these triangle prints or the stripes. I've never ever seen this one from Moda. It's lovely. It's a really lovely pack. Your 10-inch squares obviously giving you a little bit more to play with. Double the size, obvious again, as the normal charm pack. So that one there that's the charm pack from Moda in your 10-inch squares. Now, have we done all of them? Let's just check. We've done that one. A Bonnie and a Zen we should still have to do. Let's have a look. Oh, this is another solids bundle. This is why. This one is ONRW 76. So here we've got greys. Oh, we've got a nice yellow in here and an orange as well. Again, your pinks and aquas. With these, it's going to be what colours work for you. You know, perhaps you've got some designer fabrics in mind you want to team these fat quarters with. But it's really going to be about what colours you like and what works for you. These are really lovely quality fabrics. They are definitely sort of a superior cotton, 100% cotton, really, really soft. Then I've been informed that there's one last one called Zen. Now, which one's that? I don't want to mix these up. Is this LYRW? This one begins with DWR. I feel like I'm on a treasure hunt for fabric. DWR. Yeah, here it is. So this one is your greens. I'm sure we've had this. We did do this one, Producer Paul. We have done this one, I'm sure, but we'll do it again. So you've got lime greens here. You've got some aquas. You've got some damsons and orchid colour in there. You've also got oranges and soft pinks and greys. Again, $39.95. So the most popular one so far this morning is the batik. So people obviously liking the idea of a slightly different feel of fabric, something that you might incorporate into a project for that different feel and touch. So as I was saying earlier, the batiks, I'm going to open these out now so you can really see, but these are dyed using a wax. So the wax obviously stops the colour penetrating certain areas of the fabrics. And you end up with this beautiful effect where you've got, so there's different leaf and foliage prints coming through in this one, but also we've got some button prints and things like that. The unusual thing about these fat quarters that are the batiks is that there's no right and wrong side, so you can use these either way round. So if perhaps you're doing a bag and you don't want to do a lining, you could just use this as is and you don't have to go to the trouble of doing something because you've got a fabric on both sides that's totally usable. So let's have a look at all of these fabrics. I'm going to lay these out for you. Let's move that out of the way. So first of all, I'll start with this. Obviously, this is like this reminds me of a coral reef or seaweed here. You've got with blues and greens and lovely sort of aquatic tones. Then our next one along. Let's turn it that way. We've got purples and pinks, but this is like a nice button, almost like all different little notions in the fabric. You can see some of those iconic button shapes that we know and love. And then obviously you've got different, if you fussy cut this and took certain sections, you know, you could team the yellow area or perhaps the pink area with some different solids. Again, batik's really popular with applique because this fabric frays a lot less than your regular cottons might do or your regular fat quarters. And all of these as well, slightly different in terms of, where the dye has fallen and where it's come into contact with that wax and created different patterns. But as I say, with applique, if you're taking a section of this and you're popping it onto another fabric, you're going to get much less fraying. So for raw edge applique and things, it's, you don't get such a frayed edge. Just going to show you the rest of these. Really unusual. Just the colour and the way the colour all just blends in. That's like a marble effect. Marvellous. Can you guess who said that? That came from producer Paul, king of the puns. Now, this is very unusual. This is a really unusual collection of fabrics. Such bold designs. Oh, now, there is already a stock warning on this. It's been really popular. IPFW72. Please check out your baskets if you're liking this one this morning. And the final one, this is like a bright Hawaiian shirt. You've got lovely bold oranges and yellows there, a very summery feel to that. But your batik collection, 7 pieces of fat quarters, $33.95. Please give the call centre a ring if you want to check that out today. 0800 112 4433. IPFW72 is your item number for that. In the lead, that's your favourite fabric bundle at the moment. Now, the next most popular, I'm going to leave that out. I'm being fed numbers in my ear. CYRW81. This is, honestly feel like, when you play that game when you're a child, I used to do this, we had a really lovely babysitter called Shirley, where you have a tray and you put all the toys on it and you have to find the thing that's been missing. It's like a treasure hunt. That's what I feel like I'm doing this morning. YLFW, no, CYR81, here it is. Let's open it up. 1 point. Let's see how many, I'd rather it was an Easter egg hunt and we could have gold, we could have eggs at the end of it. So let's have a look at these different fabrics in this bundle. So first of all, there's only 7 left in stock of this. So if you do like this one, again, not to apply any pressure. I just don't want you to miss out if it's one that you do like. So starting with a mauve there, I'm going to lay these out so you get an idea of how the colours, how they work as a family and how they coordinate. Then we've got a lilac. You've got a cornflower blue, a pearl blue there. Then you've got quite a traditional aqua and a lighter version of that. Then moving now into sort of more greens, a limey green and then a softer pastel green. My favourite colour in this bundle is that pink, candy floss pink. A softer pastel pink there as well. pumpkin orange. And then a more muted orange there, like a softer version. And if I just open one of these up, just so you have an idea of the size, again, as I said before, this is taking, this is a quarter of a piece of fabric. So rather than it being cut across, this is a corner section, so you get a more usable piece. It's a fat quarter, it's the fattest part, you know, it's a quarter of the fabric, but the fat version as opposed to a skinny, thin strip. So that's the Moda, me and my sister. I wonder if my sister, no, my sister won't be watching today, she's at work, my sister Kennedy. So that one's the most popular at the moment out of those Moda Fat Quarter bundles. One last look at those, just that fan of colour. There they are. I need an extra pair of hands this morning. Beautiful. Let's pop those there. Now the next most popular is the layer cake. Can I just slip one of these off? Much easier for me to show you what's in here if we take the cellophane off. So, here we go, that's better. 10-inch squares. So these are pre-cut, again, ready to go, ready to use, giving you a little bit more to play with than you would get with the traditional charm pack. I'm just going to lay some of these out so you can see how they work together. Now, this print is recurring throughout. You've got lots of different sewing references here talking about measuring and different sort of increments and inches and scissors and cutting fabrics off the bolt in different colourways. So these are your... Oh! Look at that. That's like you would find like a crystal, a cut crystal. Now you get doubles of some of these. It's a 40-piece layer cake. Again, you've got that other one there in a different colourway. Oh, this is gorgeous in the pink. All those sort of corals. Let's look at some of these other colours here. Yeah, you've got lovely sunshine yellows. Then we move into the green section. Also some nice sort of more khaki greens coming through there. Then we head into pink territory. So you can see this one popping up, the sewing, that sewing one. And then you've got that geometric print there. It's half square triangles. It's like a little block. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. What a lovely print. $40 is a lot of pieces, as you're probably thinking as I lay these out. You're going to think, is it ever going to end? I just wanted to show you some of the different ones that you have in here. So these are working out at £1.25 per 10-inch square. So obviously these are all, the edges have been pinked for you, so you're going to get much less fraying. You haven't got to worry if you want to incorporate those straight into a project. Lovely. These would be beautiful for some patchwork. Just because you're seeing these designs running through, but in different colourways. A couple more, I promise you we're nearly there. I just want you to see exactly what's inside. I mean, as a quilt, this would look absolutely stunning. You could, oh, you know what you could do? The rainbow quilt that we did with Lucy the other day. If anybody saw that, where we did the sort of a rainbow effect where it looked like it was floating out of the fabric with white borders on either side. We used K Facet for it, but if you wanted to go for that rainbow effect where you have the gradient moving through sort of your light and light colours moving through to your darker blues and greens, this would really work well for that because you've got different prints in your different colourways in these 10-inch squares. 40 pieces in there. Really beautiful collection. EGRW03, $49.95. So $125, did we say that works out per square? So when you look at it like that, it is pretty good value. Now, we've been talking about Elna this morning, so we've had Jayne in from Elna, and also we had Joy who joined us to look at that quilting machine. I'm just going to show you some of those different machines in case you missed them earlier this morning. So we'll start first of all with the Elna 540. Elna is our home brand, so we have these on the show. These are the machines that our designers use day in, day out that you'll see here on our desks. Now, this machine's got lots to offer, lots of different stitches. This is just a quick recap so you can see those different machines from this morning. Now, the next one is the 680. This is the one that all of our designers use. This is our, I would say, you know, on the show 80% of the time, this is our go-to machine. Lots of different technical features there. 170 stitches. You've also got the LCD touchscreen, so making it really easy for your picking your stitches and for selecting them. Also, it's got a memory function, so you can program stitches into that. You also get all of those accessories in this bundle. So for that price, you get those different, you've got, you know, different plates there for the bottom. You've got a bobbin case. You've got a spool holder to keep things in place. Bobbin holders, a walking foot. And finally is our Elna 340. This is our most affordable sewing machine. So perhaps if you're just entering sewing territory, perhaps you're only joining us today for the first time, or you're thinking about getting into sewing, this is a fantastic place to start because you're not compromising in terms of the quality of the machine. You've just got, you've got perhaps fewer stitches on there. But if you're heading onto a new sewing journey, as it says there, embark on a voyage to a new creative destination. £259 is a fantastic starting price point for a first sewing machine. Or perhaps if you're trying to get your children maybe into sewing. Remember as well, with all of our sewing machines, it's one lot of postage and packaging. So regardless of the fact this is a really big, heavy item, you're still only going to be charged that for delivery. Now, this here is the embroidery machine that we had on this morning. Jayne embroidered my name onto a piece of fabric, but you've got loads of gorgeous embroidery. You can step away and the machine does all of the work here. You use it with a stabiliser and you can embroider onto towels, onto dressing gowns, onto school uniforms, onto anything at all if you want to personalise those with fonts, but also with different borders and designs. And finally was our quilting machine, which is the Excellent 730. So this is what Joy was looking at this morning. You can see there that wardrobe on the side where you store all of your different feet. Now this machine, you don't need to add anything. You get so many feet with this, everything that you would need and expect. The main selling point with that machine is that you've got a really large throat space. So if you are doing a lot of quilting and you're feeding those fabrics through and you want a little bit more room to do that and to put it through without having to roll the quilt or to bunch it up, DEJE 43 is the quilting machine this morning. And also, if you want to go back and watch those shows from earlier, all of our shows go onto YouTube, so you can go back, watch and see what Jayne and Joy shared with us this morning, all of the different features of those machines, if it's something that you're thinking of buying. Now, also, talking of Jayne, we were just looking at some new features that we launched this morning. So these are premieres on the show. We'd never had them on before, and these have been really, really popular, so I'm just going to recap them in case you missed it. So, is this the most popular at the moment? So this was the most popular. This here is over half the stock of this has gone this morning. I don't know if you can see this. It's a metal arm that you attach onto your machine. You use this with your regular foot or with your walking foot. Now this is a circular sewing device. So here you can just lift this and it reveals a pin that you place into the centre of the fabric. And then from there you can use this sliding sort of section to create concentric circles in different sizes, and it stitches circles of all different diameters. Now, lots of people find circles a little bit scary, creating those perfect curves. If you want something that's going to create a perfect circle, then this is the person for the job. With this, I will just mention, this will fit onto your machine depending on the bobbin case. So that little plastic case that fits on, you need to choose one that fits. So this works perfectly with the Elna 540 and the Elna 340, but this is the exact size of the bobbin case because it slips in, you take the plastic case out and you use this attachment there instead. So that's what you need to check. Let's not blind you with the light. There it is. UZJE 39. Now, the next one, this was my favourite of the three new tools this morning, is the ruffler. So this is called the Ultimate Ruffler, and if you didn't see it in action, please do just whiz back and you'll see this is creates perfect pleats. And the lovely thing about this is that you can vary the depth of the pleat, so you can make it fold more regularly, either at 6 stitch increments, or you can take it up to 12 stitch increments. So, you know, depending on the width of that ruffle that you want to create, you can just see here. If you want to add the ruffle, perhaps on a cuff or a collar. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see it like that, I think it looks a little bit scary, a little bit like something I wouldn't know what on earth it did. But it does create perfect ruffles if you want to edge cushions or curtains, home furnishings. Again, with your Elna machines. Now, one last thing, this is a walking foot. So lots of you, if you have one of the slightly more advanced machines, it might come with a walking foot, but some of them don't. And this would be probably the first edition of an extra foot if you were going to use one. Now, a walking foot is all about helping that fabric to feed through the machine, as it says there, evenly. So where you've got your feed dogs on the bottom, on the base of your machine, sort of gripping like this also creates a grip on the top that's going to help to just move that fabric through really nice and evenly, so you don't get a slip if you're working with, wadding in a quilt sandwich. You're going to get that feeding through nice and evenly. TNJE62. Now, we also had a couple of requests to see these pins because we mentioned them and we didn't show you how to buy them, so here they are now. These are curved safety pins. The last few days for me with quilting, these have been filled with these curved safety pins. Lucy Brennan used them, Jo Carter used them, and today Jayne was using them as well. I'm just going to show you, you get 150 in here. Now, what you can see here is quite often, if you're making a quilt sandwich and you're putting fabrics together, with that curve there, it just enables you to slip it under the fabric and to really easily place that back into the cap of the pin without having to actually bend the pin itself. We were saying that so often regular safety pins end up looking a bit like that, where you've had to force them into place. So 150 pieces there, BRGQ57. Now, I've also got these Metler threads. The Christmas thread is the most popular. It's way out in the lead, so I'll start by showing you that. Our festive thread bundle this morning. Now, these are 100% polyester. So you've got a metallic selection here and also some regular poly sheens from Metler. Really durable threads. Just that you can see those festive colours there, but really popular with greens and golds and silvers and reds. That's your first one. Now, all of these three that you'll see left on the stand, these are all 100% cotton. So these are fantastic for construction, for piecing of quilting, of quilts if you want to use, a cotton because you've used 100% cotton for the quilt itself. First of all is our spring bundle. So this is pastels here. You've got purples, pinks, yellows and oranges. Some lovely soft... Also, with the poly sheens, what's lovely about these is they just are catching the light. Next up is the summer one. So this is the one that Jayne used in the last hour. These are really bright, bold, vivid colours in this bundle. And actually, this end is quite autumnal, heading into that sort of season. They look really lovely, actually, with those mode of fat quarters. In fact, I might take those over to have a look. And one last one is our winter. So this is our icy sort of colours here with blues and creams and also some darker blacks and greys. Again, these ones are 100% cotton. AGEQ97. So that's our little roundup of the threads that we've had. Let me just arrange these nicely on our stand. So we've also got some books. Let's have a look at those back with all of our fabrics. I've made a mess of this table. Oh dear, look at this. I got out all of these. I wanted to show you these charm pack pieces, and now I've got 40 pieces of fabric beautifully laid out on the table. So I don't know whether to just gather these up a bit. So this charm pack, this is a 40-piece, 10-inch layer cake. So you can see all of these colours as we collect them up here. In fact, you can see them again as I collect them. I'll just do it so you can see. But lovely different colour selection as we just bring these in. Just collecting these up. Again, you've got all of those I think these would make a lovely patchwork. You'd easily make a quilt from all of these. You've got so much fabric, and they work out at £1.25 per 10-inch square. But it just means you're getting a lovely taster of the collection. You know, you've got enough fabric of all of these different designs to really see what ones you like and to incorporate them into projects. So that one there. There are also some left over here. They're everywhere. They are quite literally everywhere. See? So many. Let's move that to the side. Now, some books. So let's look at the fat quarter books to start with. As we're showing you fat quarters, that kind of makes sense. So, fun with fat quarters. Let's start with that one to start with. I've popped a couple of post-it notes in here for the projects that really sort of stood out to me. But this is, if you're looking at these fabrics and you're thinking, I love them, I just don't really know what I would do with them, then there's some inspiration here for projects using fat quarters. Let's put this flat on the table so you can see more easily. So £10.95, it's a great price for this book. What is a fat quarter? I think hopefully by now, if you've been watching this hour, you might have seen enough fat quarters to know what they are. But here then, just talking you through at the beginning, I want to push right forward with the section where we get to projects. Here we go. Fabulous flowers. So using your fat quarters to create maybe little hair scrunchies or brooches, some nice little drawstring bags, perfect for if you're travelling and you want to keep, you know, perhaps laundry or shoe bags in the bottom of the wardrobe. You've got a nice reversible bag there in a bucket shape. Quilted cosmetics bags. Doorstop, lots of inspiration. This is all about using your fat quarters. So you've got different, you know, sort of mats, placemats, if you wanted to create a whole selection of those. You know, perhaps if you've bought maybe even, say, the batik fat quarter bundle where you've got 7, you could use 6 of those, mix and match them. Oh, this was one I picked out. This was the alfresco placemat. I don't know if you can see here, but there were sort of built-in little loops that you would perhaps usually find maybe in a sewing accessory case, but you can use them to keep your knives and forks in place if you're dining in the garden and maybe it's a bit windy. I thought that was quite a cool addition. The other project that I'd marked out was obviously all of your instructions for these, talking you through how to make them. I loved this pinafore. I thought that was really lovely. Just, you know, you could create that little dress using fat quarters. You would never think you could get that from a fat quarter, but you can. You need 2 fat quarters to make the dress. And then you use 1 for the pockets. Also, all of your templates in the back. So that's fun with fat quarters, KRSP 30. Our next fat quarter book, this is taking a more traditional twist. So perhaps if you're, in fabric-wise, I would probably then lean towards maybe more of those Moda bundles or even the Iris and Rose Solid bundles. Let me show you the front of the book first of all. So traditional fat quarter quilt. So this is quilts using fat quarters, and you've got 11 projects in here. Again, now these are going to look very different in different fabrics, but you just get an idea of how you could create something much, much bigger, but using these small pre-cuts of fabric. Very thorough figure instructions there and annotations. All using, again, your pre-cut fat quarters. Lots of sort of inspiration. And obviously, so often with quilts, if you're buying lots of fabric off the bolt, you're not utilising your fat quarters for quilting. And if quilting is your thing, and you want to use your fat quarters for that, then there's loads of ideas here. Also, it talks to you about alternative quilt sizes. So this is a really comprehensive table where you can just see, how many strips and squares you need depending on what size quilt you want, whether that's a queen size or, slightly smaller quilts as well. AXSP 28. We've also got Buy the Bundle. This is my favourite fat quarter book. This is really lovely. This is all about using your fat quarters again. This feels like a very friendly, approachable book. So, again, lovely photography. Do these look familiar? They do to me. My table's covered in those this morning. Look, we're covered. So you've got 12 quilts in here. Boxes and crosses. These have also been photographed, you know, rather than just in a studio in outdoor settings, which is really lovely. You can see here, these are actually all photographed in Australia. It's an Australian author. I loved the half moon quilt. I picked that one out. I really wanted to highlight that. I really like the look of that one. Butterflies. Raindrops. I loved the bead one as well. That was, to me, looks like bubbles or Christmas baubles. If you're in lots of people buying Christmas thread this morning, so who knows? Look at that! Isn't that beautiful? But yeah, Emma Jean Jansen is an Australian author. Again, you've got all of your templates and cutting instructions for all of these. But really beautiful photography, bringing those quilts to life, actually. 2 more books. So another fat quarter book here. I know you're probably thinking, how can there be more? But there are some, look, this is just different inspiration to use these fat quarters for. So this one, you know, perhaps if you've bought any of these fat quarters and now you're wondering, well, I've got the fabric, but what do I do with it? Here's some ideas. So these are, we've only got 3 of this one in stock. So as it's saying, small fabric, more than 50 big ideas. I loved this bag. You can see by my post-it note. With this sort of ruffle detail on the side. But this one here, rather than quilts, is actually different projects that you could use the fat quarters for. So there's a bag section, there's a bag chapter. Then you get to, there is a quilts and pillows chapter. So I'll skim forward to that. I think we've made that cushion, the Starburst pillow. Then you've also got a home decor chapter. So, you know, using your fat quarters for little things, trinkets and things that you could have around the home. Nice little coaster set there. And then we move into wearables. And I thought this was a very unusual ruffle here on this jacket. A patchwork tie. How unusual would that? Imagine giving that. That would be a very unusual present, wouldn't it? And then give and use. So things, you know, that you could pass on perhaps to other people as presents. Maybe if you're busy in the kitchen and you're making little things that you want to give away as gifts, another way of giving it that homemade feel. So that's the Small Fabrics 50 Big Ideas book. Only 3 of those left in stock, so you will need to be quick. BIMZ 90. One last book, Make Pre-Cut Quilts. So this one here is again using your pre-cuts, but rather than different projects, this is all about quilts. I'll show you the front of the book first of all. I think it's nice to see what the top is. This one is under £10, so £9.95. Again, step-by-step photography, talking through your block assembly for these. Again, all about using the fat quarters and your pre-cuts. I loved this rainbow quilt. In fact, for that 10-inch charm pack, you know, if you wanted to incorporate that into a rainbow sort of design, there it is. But using your pre-cuts to create all these different sort of blocks, and it's also a really nice way to try and to learn new blocks and different techniques. Oh, we did this yesterday. Hugs and kisses. Or noughts and crosses, as I think it looks like. GRSP 86. And that one there is your pre-cut quilts. So 5 books, I know I've just whizzed through those, but we wanted to give you some different options for what you might use these fat quarters for. Or something that's very, very popular is our iris bundle. So let's have a look. These are always, I know why these are popular, because they're fantastic value. So you get 8 fat quarters in here. You know, you've got your teal on the bottom, you've got a navy blue, you've got a really deep purple, a dusty purple, greys, teals, a greyish blue, and then a cream on the top there. But £9.95, you're getting 8 fat quarters in there. This is from So Easy. And lovely to team with some more maybe busy prints or design prints as well. Now, there's also this in a different colourway. This is the Rose Fat Quarter Bundle. On the bottom, you've got a deep, sort of nice, lovely burgundy colour. So that's like crushed raspberries. Then you've got a brighter pink, some softer pinks, and a dusty rose tea pink there. Mocha, buttermilk, latte, and a white on the top. HQ GQ 56, £9.95. Now, the batik, which is the one that you can see here, is really popular today. A lovely fabric that you can use. There's no right or wrong way to use it. You know, you can use it both sides. We are running really low on stock on this now. But it doesn't fray easily. It's got a slightly different feel to it, so it's lovely to combine. But look at these beautiful designs. So we've got, starting at the top with what I think is almost like a coral reef. It's lovely fabric. Then you've got your buttons you can see creeping through here. Again, like more coral in your blues. Or seaweed almost, isn't it? Now, as a collection, when you see this as a whole overall picture, which we'll show you in a sec, you really get an idea of how these fabrics work together. Imagine a patchwork with all of those, using different sections from all of these different fabrics, you know, taking small areas and mixing and matching those up. Lots of possibilities. This is the fat quarter bundle here, so you get 7 pieces in this fat quarter bundle. IPFW72. Again, it's that batik, so using the wax to affect where the dye goes on the fabric. $33.95. Beautiful. Then we've also got the Moda. So let's look at DWR, isn't this one? Here it is. We haven't opened this one yet, so I'll open this one out. So this arrives to you all wrapped up like a nice little present. And here are some solids, but these are different to the regular solid fat quarters that we have on the show. They're different to the So Easy ones. These are a really lovely quality cotton, and you've got a different sort of array of colours in this bundle. So let's just have a look at these. So you've got your green, 22 inches by 18 inches. Let's lay them on the table. I'm trying to figure out what that is in the corner of your shot. You've got aquas and blues. Oh, this looks lovely with that batik. Look at that. Let's do a fan. I love that one. Really beautiful orchid colour there. Lots of different options. This is the Zen Chic. Ooh, that sounds very... The Moda Zen Chic fat quarter bundle. DWRW70. And that comes to you like this. Now, something that was also incredibly popular earlier on in the show, if you were watching when Jayne was using the embroidery machine, was the stabilisers. So we have a pack of stabilisers. There are 12 different ones in there. And you've got an option to use different cutaway, tearaway and wash-away stabilisers that obviously you have to use when you're doing embroidery. Now, there's only 4 of these left in stock, so I'll just quickly show you that, UAGQ54. And you get a really sizable piece of each stabiliser, so it's a great way to test and try different ones out. If you want to, to try those different wash away and tear away ones. Really important, especially if you're using an embroidery machine and you're embroidering onto anything with a pile, so like a towel or something like that, to really get the effect of the embroidery and to stop it from all sort of mishmashing out into nothingness. You have to use that stabiliser to get the accurate stitches. So just 4 of those left in stock, UAGQ54. Now, also, if you go on our website, we can show you, actually, if you go to the watch page, you'll be able to see everything that's been on today's show. So underneath the live feed, it's like a shopping list. So you can see those books there that I've just introduced you to, but all of those fat quarter bundles are listed there. You can see the rose and the iris fat quarter bundles, your curved safety pins, you've got the walking foot, the sewing machines, embroidery machines, all of your metler threads. When you look at it like that, you realise quite how much we've done this morning. And the stabiliser's there at the bottom. And if you want to check those out, you just add those to your basket. You can create an account and check out the website on that way. Or always you can give the call centre a ring. It's a UK-based call centre. They'll be happy to answer any questions or queries you might have. So 0800 112 4433 is the number for that, which is always on your screens. Now, also, we had some butterfly fabrics. If you saw the quilt, the most popular fabric bundle that Joy was using with the quilt this morning, I'll show you that fabric bundle in a little picture we've got there. Of the 2, that was the most popular. So you've got your pastels teamed with the butterflies, a yellow, a heron grey, a dark grey, and the butterfly print. Ooh, OOGC59. Let's have a look at the menu of what's coming up on today's show. I've been here for the last 4 days. Natasha's back tomorrow, so let's see who she's got in and what they're up to in the morning. So, at 8 o'clock in the morning, Jennifer Taylor is in making a tablet keeper, so something to keep it nice and safe. Top Tips Tuesday. 9 a.m. is Flying Geese Borders. That's with Joy Edgington, the lovely Joy who's been in today, teaching me all about quilting. 10 o'clock, the boho bag. And 11 a.m, our Kansas Crossroads block. That sounds very interesting. I'll have to watch Joy at 11. That sounds like fun. Top Tips Tuesday with Natasha. So thank you so much for your company today. It's honestly so lovely to see all of your different pictures and to know what you're up to and to get your questions in for our designers. That's what Sewing Quarter's all about. And in this hour, we've had loads of different fabrics, lots of different fat quarter bundles for you to share. For anyone who bought that quilting and embroidery machine this morning, congratulations, well done you. I hope you have lots of fun working with that, and maybe send us some pictures of the projects that you do manage to make. A big thank you to Joy and to Jane who have joined me today on the show. Remember, you can always go back on YouTube and watch those. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. I've had a lovely 4 days. I'm looking forward to doing it all again. I'm back next weekend. So I'll see you soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Follow us on Instagram. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to get our latest posts. Don't forget, shopping with us is easy and simple. You can just contact us at 0800 112 4433 and speak to our UK-based call centre to place an order, or shop online with us at www.sewingquarter.com.